What's going on, friends? It's Anton Daniels, and I gotta have a conversation with you guys about Teach Henley because you see how the sun is hitting me. This is no finesse, no makeup, no filters, no none of that. This is 100% Teach Henley. I use it in the morning as soon as I get up, right after I pray and brush my teeth, jump in the shower, and I'm hitting the streets because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. So even though they're giving you 40% off your first order, 20% off for life, even though you may get a free gift, forget all that, right? Because we would do this even if it was full price because it's worth that much. I'm in the streets, I'm kicking it with people, and I see Dusties everywhere. You don't want to be them. You want to separate yourself. And the way that you separate yourself is self care. Ladies get it for the fellas. Fellas don't wait for the ladies to get it for you. I'm about to hit the streets right now and I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling great. I mean, I already got confidence, but to have that extra boost of confidence, knowing that you've taken care of yourself and you set yourself apart from all of the rest of the sheep that's walking around making bad decisions on a daily basis. And it's reflected in their actions. It's reflected in the products that they use. It's reflected in the people that they follow. And so if you're trying to level up, if you're trying to make sure that you look good, they're going to send you the pack. They're going to give you all of the instructions on how you're supposed to use it. Then make sure you get your Teach Henley. Again, 40% off your first order, 20% off for life. Get your free gift. Make sure you tap in with your boy Anton Daniels because Unc is never going to lead you wrong. I would never have you use a product that I don't use myself. Again, they've been rocking with me for a long time. Make sure you get your Teach Henley. I love you. I appreciate you. I'm going to holler at you guys later. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I'm your host, Anton Daniels. What up? What up? What up? What up? What up? He said Anton does his show on the weekends too. It's a makeup show. Thursday, I didn't live stream because of an anniversary, and I didn't do the Patreon live stream on Wednesday because I was preparing for the anniversary. So today and tomorrow, I plan on doing a live stream. Today, I'm gonna do the live stream for the Millionaire Morning Show as a makeup show, and then tomorrow, I'm gonna do a makeup live stream for Patreon. So what up, y'all? How y'all feel? How y'all feel? Tay Diggs, you got to come up off that. I know, like it's a joke that you say on every channel and stuff like that, but you gotta get like a better tagline, bro. Got to get a better tagline. But it's Saturday, so it's chill, and I get to give y'all my thoughts. We get to talk about a couple different subjects, and I'm looking forward to kicking it with y'all. I think I'm gonna head out to the suburbs today. Um, I'm gonna head out to the suburbs today and see what's popping out there, because I got to go and check on some property. I'm gonna drop a vlog for y'all today also, so I'm gonna drop that on the Darth Anton channel. I've been holding on to that. What up, Trey Day in the building? I see you, Brock. I see you, Jennifer, Tay, Siobhan, D. Harris. I hear it, fam. I'll come up with something better. Yeah, you got to come up with something better, bro. You got to come up. Did y'all enjoy after hours last night? I mean, we've been putting in that work. Let me run an idea by y'all before we get started with the show. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Uh, Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. Let me run an idea by y'all. It seems as though people really enjoyed, not yesterday, but the day before, when we started off the show on After Hours and then I dropped the clip for it. People really enjoyed the conversation about sports. When me, Slammy, 2K, and Quentin is really into sports. I'm not sure that 2K is into sports as much as we are. Like we really are heavy into it. Like we heavy into it for real, for real. It was a Thursday show. That's right, A Done. It was a Thursday show. But we were talking about sports, and it seemed like people were really into it. So let me ask y'all a question. Are y'all interested in? And I'm just trying to get a gauge of interest because you know me, my brain works. It's always going on. I'm always trying new things. Are y'all interested in having a couple segments a week at least or something like that about sports? Shout out to Mr. Technical says AD has really changed my whole mindset in life. I really appreciate your presence, sir. Tap In Production says no for sports convo. Christopher Chapman says yes. It is Saturday. I don't expect a whole lot of movement in here today because we live stream Monday to Friday. I see, yep, heck yeah, I can talk sports all day. Pacers in 7. Your car said I could care less. Well, Nola says yes. Jennifer says, seems like for the women they were waiting on the sidelines. Well, this wouldn't be a woman thing unless if the women just wanted to jump in, then that would be on them. Definitely a good topic. Sports help keep the minds off of crazy events. Nah, man. But for the men, sure. Shout out to you, Chad for Morris. I'll kick it with you in a minute. I'll answer that super chat shortly. I personally loves pro sports talk. My man, their attorney, all turning woke as fuck. Not to mention rigged. I'll join. Yes, women can also join in their takes if they know sports. It beats talking about women and what a waste of time. Sports ain't popping unless Clinton screaming randomly. I do a college football talk. Here's the thing. It's just like I don't know, man. I just like to talk about what I like to talk about. It's certain things. It's a lot of stuff that I don't talk about online because I'm limited based off of whatever it is that the platform has been created for. Like, so you know what I'm saying? Let's say, for example, the Millionaire Morning Show. The way that we got the show now is that we talk about everything, but we relate it back and talk about how it comes back to the money, whether it's lifestyle, politics, whatever, right? The Anton Daniels channel, that's pretty much dedicated to popular culture, whether it be relationships, politics, whatever. And then we kind of have group conversations on after hours, but we kind of unfiltered, like we really let loose and just talk shit. But you limit it a lot of times. So, like for example, outside of the internet, one of my big things, two things that I'm really into. This is so gonna sound so man like Superman type stuff. Two things that I'm really interested in, or that I really get into off the internet is cars. So I'm really into cars. I ain't got the capacity to start no car channel. You know what I'm saying? And then the other thing that I'm into that I really love is in the sports, mainly basketball. Number one is basketball. Everything sports related basketball at the games. I go to baseball games, I go to basketball games, all of that type of stuff, right? I go to soccer games. I go to soccer games. Like I'm actually in the stands. Um, when I'm out of town, a lot of times if they got a basketball team, whether it be college or whether it be NBA, I went and seen Portland in Portland. You know what I'm saying? So I love sports and I love cars. I switch out my cars as much as I can. Yesterday I was driving a 911, or the last few days I've been driving a 911. Um, why is some people asking, is it live? It says live on the live streams, and I'm kicking it with y'all and I'm talking to y'all in the chat. So my brother, I hope you research this stuff on going in on Iran and Israel. Is biblical. You are very smart to help your listeners and your viewers. Um, Here's the thing. Everybody got a perspective. Do you have a C8? I really like that ZR1X. I really like the ZR1. The thing about Corvettes here in the United States, in Detroit, is Corvettes are like Lamborghinis. Corvettes in Detroit is like Lamborghinis in Miami. I'm gonna talk about that Israel stuff right now. Corvettes in Detroit are like Lamborghinis in Miami. I'm telling you, old Corvettes, new Corvettes, it is the car in Detroit. Like Corvettes here is like, because we the big three. We Chevy, Ford. I mean, I'm looking at GM's headquarters right there. So, a lot of people work at these places or whatever. It's like the car. Mustangs used to be everywhere. Camaros used to be everywhere. Obviously Challengers, but Corvette is like the supercar in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? So A lot of people don't consider it a supercar. I think it's way better than a supercar. The ZR1X is better than a hypercar. It just embarrasses all of these $1 million plus cars. It just shows you how overpriced a lot of these cars are. So, but the other side of it though is that I like cars not for the clout. I like cars because I love cars. So when I look at cars or when I look to buy a car, if I'm not willing to drive it, if I'm not willing to really, really put my foot on the gas and stuff like that, then I won't buy it because I'm not buying a car to preserve it. I'm not buying a car as a museum item. I'm not buying it as a status symbol. I'm buying the car because I love the car. So we drive our cars. We want to put miles on them when we get an opportunity to, me and my daughter. We want to put miles on them. We want to enjoy them. I'm careful about customizing too much. You know what I'm saying? Doing any of that type of stuff simply because they make them so good now. They make them so stock, and the customization options are a lot of times when you order them straight from the factory, they everything that you can want. You know what I'm saying? If you're talking about an old school thing, yeah, I think that you can start to talk about customizations and whatever like that. Dodge Vipers is dope, all of that. But if you're talking about like the newer cars, everything is pretty much already there. Because think about it. If you're buying a Challenger, how much more horsepower do you need than if you're getting a Hellcat 707 or 717, 797, 807? How much more horsepower can you fucking handle? It's hard to get that car stock. A Hellcat Demon, it's hard to get that car to hook. If you don't know how to drive, you got these young dudes out here, they're just hitting the gas and all of that type of stuff. They don't know how to drive them cars. They know how to steal them. They don't know how to drive them. And so every car is different. The torque, the weight, where the engine sit, all of that type of stuff. Talking about a Corvette versus a Hellcat or something like that. How much more horsepower do you need? It's almost like people talk about horsepower wars, but my 911 will blow out the water all of these cars because it's lighter, it's faster, you know what I'm saying? It hooks better. It's just a better, that flat six with the turbocharge. It's a different type of car. You know what I'm saying? So all cars drive different, but they're all beautiful in their own ways. So it's not always about horsepower. It's not always about that. It's just about the engineering capabilities of the car itself. You know what I'm saying? As far as this whole Israel situation, and I'm about to get into the show. What year? What year what? What year is what? My Hellcat or the 911? What year is what? As far as this whole Israel thing versus Iran, especially with people's perspective on Israel, I find that everybody got a different perspective because some people is coming from a different lens. Some people coming from a political perspective, other people are coming from a human rights perspective, and then other people are coming from the whole nuclear. Can they have a nuclear weapon? Are they being displaced? Oil? And then I see other people talking about it from a spiritual perspective. So, what year is what? Cameron. What year is my 911? My 911 is a 2023. No, 2023, 2020. What year is my 911? I think it's a 2024. I think no, the 911 is a 2024. The Hellcat is a 2023. All right, so my Hellcat is a 2023. It only got 500 miles on it. My 911 is a 2024, and it has 1,200 miles on it. I got a 2024 911, and I have a 2023 Hellcat, but the Hellcat got 500 miles on it. The 911 got like 1,200 miles on it. So, am I selling my 96 Impala? When did I say that I was selling my 96 Impala? I don't remember that. I don't remember saying that officially. This is Saturday. I'm the creator of my reality focus. Let's create. So I'm gonna just warn you right away. Like, this isn't the same as a weekday show. So if you think that you're gonna
boss me around, I might time you out. Because I don't feel like arguing. I just kind of feel like chilling today. So I know y'all wake up and people wake up and they be on TN because they want attention. You don't have no real profile photo. So I'm just chilling. I got a 96 Impala. It's the weekend, so I'm just kind of flowing with whatever it is I'm flowing with. But I will get I think I'm gonna head out to the streets today and see what's happening. I've been inside working, just working, working, working. All I've been doing is working. Have I ever looked into a Land Rover Defender? Yeah, they okay. They okay. I don't like the interiors of the new Land Rovers. I don't like the screen that they got, that little curved screen. I think that they could do better on their software. The interiors is shit. The interiors is cool, but the layout of it is just like, eh. I think the Defender should have had more buttons, less screen. Do I have a Tesla as well? Yes, I have a Cybertruck. How you like the Navigator? When I get it back, I'm gonna like it more. It's one of the cars that I like the most. It's getting customized, so I'm getting tents all around it. It's getting wrapped, so I should be getting that back early next week. Shout out to you, Cameron. I appreciate you. Let me read some of these super chats, and then we're gonna go ahead and get started with the show. Is this my personal 96 Impala is my personal choice. I just love it. This is just a dope car. All right, so let me acknowledge the people and show y'all some love. First of all, I want to acknowledge Molly. Shout out to Molly. She know why I'm acknowledging her. Shout out to her. I hope you have a phenomenal weekend, baby girl. Mike, that dude, I appreciate you. Thank you, Mike, that dude. Chef G Rap says Anton just turned 40. I need to hear that. Happy birthday, Chef G Rap. And Chris James, I appreciate you. Said happy anniversary. My dude has sent me a 100 ball. I appreciate you, Chris James. Chadford Moore says, good morning, AD. I seen an interview like a king and had an interview for a director position. It was more of a good convo than an interview is at a good side. That's a phenomenal sign. People don't care about if you're getting the interview and if you can get past the first 15 minutes of the interview on the skill set and y'all just start having more like interaction, chop it up, great conversation, that is the best sign ever. Follow up. Make sure you follow up. Eric Williams says, AD, what's going on, bro? I reached out to my Michigan family, hoping yours is doing well. Reaching out to my Michigan family. I will love to see y'all actually do a sports show once a week. Yeah, I'm going to kick around the idea. I may test it, and we'll see what happens. All right, y'all. Y'all ready to get started with the show? We don't have no time frame today, so we just kind of kicking it. May go 2 hours, may go 3 hours. I don't know. But let's talk about some stuff. So let me tell y'all what I got lined up for the show. And then I might even go off the cuff a little bit more and see what y'all talking about. So what I'm talking about today, the main things that I'm gonna focus on today is AI. I want to talk about scams in Atlanta. I want to talk about these water boy scams because they're going viral right now. The culture is trash. I want to talk about Iran, right? And there's a woman that lived 27 years in Iran that breaks down exactly what it's like to live in Iran as a woman. So a lot of y'all support, y'all say what y'all like, y'all don't like. I see a lot of liberals now starting to defend Iran. And so I want to actually break that down and have a conversation about that. New Iranian commander has been killed again, another one, and all of that, right? So y'all some weirdos. What's up, Molly? I just said I hope you had a great. You gonna have a great weekend. What up, Molly? What up, baby girl? All right, y'all ready to get started with the show? All right, let's get it popping. What up, Just Montina? What's up, Just Montina? Hold on, let me see something. I gotta look something up. All right. Yeah, we're gonna have a great show today. All right, y'all, let's get it popping. Well, I'm doing a Saturday show to make up for the Thursday show because my anniversary is on Thursday, so I didn't really do anything on I didn't live stream on Thursday morning. All right, y'all. So the first thing that I want to talk about is these ATL water boys because it's a lot of women in particular. So there's women, I've been seeing women all up and down my timeline on different platforms on Instagram and TikTok. And they've been basically talking about, hey, don't get caught up with the ATL water boys. Don't get caught up with the ATL water boys. And I'm like, what do you mean don't get caught up with the ATL water boys? What do you mean the ATL water boy? Like, what is going on? What is these dudes? It's always something. It's always a new scam. It's always something new. People are trying to figure out. And, for me, it was like just when, because you drive down the street and the water boys is basically when you pull up to a certain spot and they got their little cooler and they trying to sell water, buy it for $1, sell it for $2 or whatever to each, to the people for whatever they selling it at. You know what I'm saying? Gatorade water, and you selling it to the different people in the cars. And so it's easy to take advantage of people, especially women, because women are emotional and, they always want to support or whatever, so on and so forth. So I seen this pop up on my timeline from a news perspective, and I say, okay, so now they're getting coverage from a news agency, and so we got to start having that conversation. So this is what basically was happening with the ATL water boy.
As water boys are accused of using Cash App to scam drivers out of a lot of money. This week alone, 2 trusting victims have come forward to say they were robbed of more than $1,000.
They say they only meant to send a few bucks to the teens who sell water at intersections throughout the city. Fox 5's Rob D'Arienzo is live in Midtown tonight. Rob, it's an important warning.
Yeah, that's right, guys. They say no good deed goes unpunished. And these victims tell me they were just trying to send a couple bucks to the water boys over Cash App. But when they handed their phones to them to put in their usernames, they got scammed.
If y'all are in Atlanta, do not give any money to the water boys.
It was a bottle of water that cost Tristan Richardson $1,100. She encountered Atlanta's infamous water boys off the downtown connector in Midtown earlier this week.
One of the boys came up to my window and I let my window all the way down. And I was like, I don't have any cash.
The water boy told her he'd take Cash App. So she put in her $2 payment and tried to get his username.
And then he was like, he took the phone. He was like, no, let me just type it in. You're not typing in the right.
As soon as she got her phone back, she realized she messed up.
When he gave the phone back to me and I sent the payment, it was $1,100.
And it seems to be a growing trend. Police say on Monday, a man lost $1,000 at that same exact intersection, with the water boys using the same exact tactic. Last week, we told you about a woman who says she lost $800 on a QR code provided by a group of water boys off I-20 and Joseph E. Lowry.
If anybody knows me, I'm always giving to people. I'm always just helping out the community.
The emotional TikTok Richardson made right after it happened has gone viral.
I had so many comments on my video of people saying, that's the oldest trick in the book. I never heard of that trick. Like, I live in the suburbs. I was raised in the suburbs.
She has received a lot of support through an online fundraiser, but she has this warning to others.
If you're in Atlanta and you come by, you pass by the water boys, I wouldn't even press my finger on the roll down window button. I wouldn't even press that. Like, don't even bother.
And Richardson has filed a police report with APD, who is currently investigating this. Meanwhile, she says she's opened a dispute with Cash App, but she says this could take weeks, maybe even months to resolve.
Y'all better leave these. See, and again, this is why you can't be nice to people. Like when you take people's niceness, when you take people's trying to do the right thing, trying to help people, and you take it for granted because, everybody messes it up for everybody. So now, don't nobody want to actually stop and help nobody. And I don't blame them. Listen, it's time for you to go ahead and just get a job, big dog. No more selling water on the corner. No more, trying to help people out. No more none of that. Now everybody got to survive on their own because, you know, people always try to figure out how to take advantage of other people. And women are the most gullible. This is one of the reasons why men, a lot of times, they try to tell y'all, stay out of the streets. Don't do this. Yo, don't do that. And man, I'm telling you, bro, I know women that sit there and tell me, oh no, I think I want to travel by myself. I want to do this. I want to do that. And
I really don't understand why shit like this be happening to me, especially because like person at all. I
gotta play this video. I gotta see who this woman is.
understand why shit like this be happening to me, especially I'm not a selfish person at all. I don't steal from nobody. I don't steal from corporations. I don't steal from Walmart. I don't steal, period. I'm a giver. If anybody knows me, I'm always giving to people. I'm always just helping out the community and stuff like that. So for this to happen to me, I know God is going to bless me because I didn't do nothing for this. I didn't do anything like karma-wise for this shit to happen to me. And I hate to wish bad on people, especially black boys, because a lot of times they be needing our support at the most. But the fact that they just stole from me, a black woman, you don't never know in a person's situation. If y'all follow me, if y'all seen the post that I just made, how I just got laid off from my job, like, people don't see that. And see, this how I know that, like, those boys really just need help. They need help, yo. But not mine.
This is the reason why women are so gullible. This is why. This right here. Because even when y'all getting finessed, you still a victim. You still gonna get your ass kicked. This is why honestly, and I believe this in my heart, I'm gonna just say for real, I believe that women need every single woman, girl, woman, adult, whatever, 20, 10, 15, 30, 40, 50. I believe that every single woman, what's up, Mika? Every single woman needs a man to cover them in some form or capacity. Listen, y'all are very privileged to be here in the United States of America. Y'all are, because I'm gonna play some stuff later on today and we're gonna get into it. I'm gonna share with y'all some of the stuff that women are saying about what it's like to live in certain other countries, whatever. You have to have a man to give you. And when I say covering, I'm not just talking about going out with you. I ain't saying that. I'm saying that you need a man to give you direction. You need a man to help you raise your children. You need a man that is playing a role in your life. I don't care how old you are. You are food on these streets, whether it's coming from a scam, whether it's coming from, because it's nothing wrong with you. You know what I'm saying? This is the way that God made you. But then at the same time, you still got this sympathy, empathy in your heart. Oh my God. And they just need help. They just need help. Oh, them little niggas need to go to jail. They need to be arrested. They need to be taught a lesson. They need their ass beat. That's what they need. They don't need, oh my God, it's the black boys. And them little niggas is probably, do you know what they probably done did in their spare time? You know what they got going on? Do you know? Somebody was telling me recently, oh, I think I'm gonna go make a trip and maybe travel by myself. Said, you so dumb. What is you doing? Seriously. Like, why would you want to you don't even know what you're getting yourself into. Who told you this? One of your homegirls? You know what I'm saying? Like, don't you know that you are food? Literally, you are food to people. When y'all go out, let me tell y'all something before we really deep dive into these water boys, because we know what a YN is. We know that they're going to look for every twist and turn in order to take advantage of people. Let me tell y'all what women is, right? When y'all out, you are an opportunity for a come up. I'm just telling you the honest to God truth. I need you to hear it. You are an opportunity for a come up. When men see y'all, they don't see a woman, and obviously this is not every man, so just take it at face value. You know what I'm saying? Look at it from a wide eye fish lens and just think about it for a minute. When men see y'all, right, they see a weak, helpless person. When y'all chip back and forth and y'all going back and forth with a man, let's say you arguing with a man in the street, at any point you could get crushed. I don't care if you got protection. I don't care if you've taken defense classes. You could get crushed right then and there with no. You are literally at the mercy of every single man that you walk past every day. Yes, all women, Deborah. All women. You have grace on you. You have grace on your life. You literally have grace on your life. That is the honest to God truth. And you're so blessed. You're so privileged to be here in the United States of America. Some of y'all don't even have a fucking clue of what you got yourself into and what you could potentially happen to you. At any point, you could literally become food and you have no clue. And it's so, I guess the funniest part is you'll have somebody in the comments sitting there going back and forth with you. Like, no, not every woman. You a fool. You a fool. Here, let me help you out. All right. You're a fool. You are a fool. And sometimes you got to let women be examples. Sometimes you got to let them be examples for themselves. It's so dumb. It is so dumb. Let me help you out. I'm going to show you something really quickly. I'm going to show you what it could be like. Because I got to help you out. I got to help you to understand it a little bit better. Stay away from the water boys. All right. Don't get caught up in this nonsense. But let me move over. I'm going to read your super chat shortly. Give me a second. I'm going to share this video with you really quickly because I think that this is more of a reality check. How blessed you are to be here in the United States of America.
Hello everyone. So this video is for the people who are backing up Iran right now, mostly Democrats, that they are supporting Iran right now. So I want to go over a few rules and laws in Iran about women. Basically, it's everything against what Democrats believe. So if you're a woman in Iran, they see you as a half a brain. So you don't have the full brain. So let's say if you witnessed a murder and you're a woman and you want to go to the court and say that you witnessed the murder, there should be 3 women. So your witness, like your words, will be approved in the court. Versus if it's a man and it witnessed a murder, only 1 man is enough. Why? Because they say women have half a brain. If you're a woman in Iran,
you're not even fully considered a human being. You know how they say, oh man, 2/3 of a person, 2/3 of a man, all of that in the Constitution and all of that, what Black people used to be in the United States of America. This is kind of reminded me of even the conversation that Whoopi Goldberg was having on The View when she was saying, no, if you Black in America, then, you're suffering. And you got this woman who has been in Iran for over 27 years, finally was able to get out. And she's explaining to you that even if you witness a crime, even if you witness a murder, you got to have 3 women to substantiate it, that it really happened and that they were all there witnessing it at the same time to equal the testimony of a man. I'm gonna continue.
you have kids and you want to divorce, you only can have that child until 7 years. After 7 years, your child is for your husband, and he can come and take the child away from you, and you might never ever see your child again. Or if he doesn't want to, he can leave this child with you, and there is nothing that you can do about it.
You have no rights over your children after 7 years. After 7 years old, if you want a divorce, you have no rights over your children if you get a divorce past 7 years old. It's all up to the man. He could take your child and you will never see that child ever again over in these places. Let's continue.
If you're a woman in Iran and you want to divorce your husband, oh, you have to go through hell. But if your husband wants to divorce you, it's super easy for them. If you're a woman in Iran and you're being beaten up by your husband, and me as your neighbor call the police and say, my neighbor is, hitting his wife to death, police will do nothing. They will say, well, it's a family matter and it is his wife. So basically, a wife for a man is like an object, just like they bought a car or something. So they will not interfere. And they will say that it's their personal problem. It's not our problem.
If you are a woman in Iran, for example, in multiple other countries, this is just one example. If you are a woman and you getting your ass kicked, you are private property. You are private property. If somebody try to call the police on your behalf, hey man, that's his property. He can do whatever it is that he wants to with it. Now, I want you to see how privileged you are, because you're out here protesting. First of all, I see so many liberals saying, oh no, we stand with Iran. You stand with what? We stand with Iran. What do you mean you stand with Iran? Don't you realize that you wouldn't even have rights? You are not even considered a human. You're less than a dog over there. You are somebody's private property. You're somebody's private property. So you're less than he could do with you what he sees fit. So you're sitting here on your high horse here in the United States of America saying what you could and couldn't do. The only reason that you have the privileges that you have is because we've civilized the world and we've allowed for you to be able to exist the way that you exist here in the United States of America. And y'all sitting there listening to the Predator on The View tell y'all that it's worse being black in America than it is being a woman over in Iran. Okay. Well, let's continue.
If you're a woman in Iran and you want to travel out of country, you have to have the approval from your father if you're single, or your brother if you don't have a father. If you're married, you have to have the approval from your husband. So basically, your husband has to sign a paper that gives you the permission to leave the country. And let's say your husband said you can't keep the kid. Until that kid is 18 years old, you have no right over that kid. Basically, if you want to leave the country, the kid cannot leave the country unless the father approves it and give the permission. If you're a woman in Iran, you can never become a judge, because they say women decide with their emotions, so they cannot be a good judge.
It sounds like a lot of guys is probably trying to get their passport, and then after this war is over between Israel and Iran, maybe they're gonna go and settle over there, because this is all of the stuff that y'all been asking for, fellas. They said women cannot be a judge because they're too emotional. Look, Lex is saying, oh my God, what an amazing place. Ben, get out of your fucking emotions and pay attention to what she's saying. Stop focusing on whether or not she's eating. Listen to the context of the video. The presentation layer don't always have to be perfect for you. Listen to what she's saying. It's a Hey, Godfather says this is music to his ears. Bro read my thoughts. Oh, Wizzy said they got one thing right over there. I'm telling you, they don't, you can't even have certain jobs because it's like, what, you want to be a judge? She's a woman, she wants to be a judge. She's a woman, she wants to be a judge. They're not fucking around with y'all. Oh, you want to really hear some stuff? All right, let's continue.
If you're a woman and you walk into your home and you see your husband with another woman and you get mad and you kill them, you will be hanged. But if you're a man, you walked in a room and get your husband with another man, you can kill both of them and nothing's going to happen to you. In Iran, you will be hanged if you kill someone. That's the punishment. But if you're a woman and you kill someone and your punishment is hanging, but you are virgin, they will first rape you before they hang you. I know that you can't even put this in your imagination, but that is true. Because in Islam, you cannot hang a virgin woman.
Y'all still advocating for all of this shit? Y'all still talking shit? For all of the ladies that just feel like, oh no, I can do whatever it is that I want, I'm safe. They not fucking around with y'all in these other places. They're not messing around. They not messing with y'all.
In Iran, if a woman does not want to sleep with the husband and have sex, and the husband basically force you and kind of rape you, actually, it does not count as a rape. So your husband can basically force you to have sex, and there is nothing that you can do about it.
No more sexless marriages.
In Iran, a woman cannot sing. No man can hear your voice singing.
Keep your voice down. Shut the fuck up. So all of these unruly women that's over here in Western America and the United States of America, raise your voice if you want to.
In Iran, if you're a woman and you get raped, do you know what's the first thing that they ask you? What did you do that they raped you? As a woman in Iran, we get sexually assaulted every day. Me, myself.
As a woman in Iran, they get sexually assaulted every single day. Ain't no Me Too movements. Ain't no none of that. Remember when Whoopi Goldberg was sitting there talking shit and she don't know nothing about the culture? Yeah, it's called slap ass. It's slap ass, touch titties, everything. Every single day. You go outside, slap ass. I don't know if y'all ever seen that skit from Key and Peele. Slap ass. Every day. You go down the street, you walk down the street. I've
been in Iran for 27 years. I've been sexually assaulted every day. Not by raping, but you walking in the street, they will touch your butt. They will touch you. They will say nasty things in your ear. You're not safe anywhere. You sit in taxi, a man next to you, they will touch you. There is nothing you can do really about it. Freedom of speech, freedom of religion, freedom of choosing your sexuality, forget about it.
No. Y'all want to go, y'all so pro all of this. You're walking around with your blue hair, with your pink pom-poms, with your over sexuality, with your rainbow flags. You're doing all of that over here in the United States of America. You got belligerent, you got comfortable. Man, I'm telling you, listen. They're not fucking around. People don't mess around. They don't care about your life. You walk down the street, whoever property they see you with. Oh no! Snaps! You waiting on a cab? That's my hoe right here. I'm touching on her. I'm a feel on her, and you better not say nothing either. So I want to see y'all keep on protesting for it. I want to see y'all keep on advocating for it. I want the women to keep on talking shit over here in the United States of America. All of that type of stuff. Keep on doing what you want to do because it's not what you think it is. Everybody is tough until they meet somebody that's tougher. Look at y'all now. Y'all, oh man, that's crazy. Crazy work. You're not safe. You're not safe. Honestly, you're not safe. Let him stand with Iran, Chip the Great. Let him stand with Iran, Chip the Great. 100%. Y'all tough. Y'all got a lot to say. Y'all want to talk tough over here in the United States of America. They're not fucking around with you nowhere else. No, she's not still in Iran. She was able to get out of Iran. That's why everybody want to come to the United States of America. They sit there and tell you, no, we want to go back to our country. We want to go back to our country. Then go. Then go. Go ahead and go and see what happened. Go ahead and go and see what happened. People, these women, I'm telling you, bro, everybody need to wake the fuck up and be appreciative and be thanking God. Oh God, I'm thankful that I was born in this era in the United States of America because, you know, I need to be. They're not messing around nowhere. They're not messing around anywhere. So grow up, man. I'm telling you, you need to grow up. Let me read some of these super chats. And I tell y'all, and we try to, you know what the funniest part about it is that we say, yo, don't do this for your own protection. And then y'all get disrespectful and belligerent and stuff like that. It's like, wait a minute. We was trying to hold you down. My account got banned, no free speech. Who banned your account? Space Drip? Nobody banned your account. They might have timed you out. Y'all don't ban Space Drip. All right. Don't ban Space Drip just because he said he stands with Iran or they stand with Iran. There's been lives lost on both ends with the water boys for years. The problem is the mayors keep letting them do it. What do you mean on both ends? What is on both ends, Shift Night? What's the other end? What's on both ends? Skinny Boy Django says, I've never met one black millionaire that can name off the books of the Bible and still say I'm not a preacher. I'm not a preacher. I'm not a preacher. We do need to send our hard-headed women over there. They'll come back so humble. They'll have a completely different perspective. Whole nother mindset. Maybe we do need to preserve Iran. Page of Style says Iran has never attacked the USA. What does that got to do with anything? Demonizing Iran to desensitize people to accept this war. Oh, God. I wish people weren't dumb. Honestly. Like, have y'all ever woke up and looked at people and some people and was like, damn, I wish you weren't stupid. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, for example, the conversation that we were having was about water boys and how women are vulnerable and they susceptible to scams and schemes and that they need to be careful and they need to be covering of a man. And then somebody in the chat says, no, not all women or whatever, so on and so forth. So I brought up an example of what oppression really looks like from the lens of a person that actually lived it. And so I was making an example about why people need to be more mindful and thankful that they're here in the United States of America. And then you see a dumbass, right? You see a dumbass that then says, try to desensitize people in order to justify a war in Iran. Nobody is justifying a war in Iran, dummy. I'm one of the main people that said I stand with Bernie Sanders on this issue in particular, that we should not be in anybody else's war. And I would prefer for us not to support Israel in this whole situation. But as usual, you got these dumb motherfuckers, always an idiot that just says stupid things that don't even have no relevance to what we talking about at the moment. Niggas pop into the live stream and then they just go dumb. And then they just start typing. I just played a video of Bernie Sanders, what was it, yesterday? And said that I don't believe that we should be in this war in the first place. And a dumb motherfucker is sitting there talking shit inside of the chat that don't even have a profile picture, a real profile picture that has not one thing to do with the others. I see why your spouses hate y'all. I see why y'all don't have no girlfriends and boyfriends. I see why you pussyless and dickless, why you get nothing except for $40 at the end of the conversation. Because you know what? I wouldn't be able to sit there and listen to you for 5 seconds. I would just be like, man, security, get this bitch out of my face. I can't take dumb people. I can't, man. I can't take dumb people. I think that dumb people, it's like a tolerance level. It's like you hit it here. When I go into other people's live streams, and sometimes, most of the time I don't say anything. I just look. I just be looking. I just observe because I'm trying to understand, okay, what they did. And sometimes I'll rewind a live stream to see how they got there and all of this stuff. And look at Malik. That go my bitch. Talking in all caps. Malik two-turn. I can always count on Malik. Shout out to my hoes, man. Shout out to my hoe Malik, bro. I love this nigga. He's a faithful hoe, a faithful subscriber, a faithful hoe. Ain't nothing like a faithful hoe. Because sometimes they get out of line, but they always gonna make sure that you use them as an example. They can't help themselves. They gonna put on all of their caps and make sure you see them. Shout out to my faithful hoe, nigga. I missed you. Never thought that I'd ever miss a hoe. Nigga, you my best eater. Y'all ever lost your best eater? Like, oh shit. She take the whole thing. She gotta let her go, but she always come back. Nigga, you's a faithful hoe. I love these hoes, nigga. Because even when you disappointed in them, they always gonna come back and make it right. You's a faithful hoe. You know what I'm saying? Can't stay away. I miss that bitch. It's Saturday. It's my best eater. That's my best online eater. Can't help it. So, Anton, I really want to be getting your attention. That's my hoe, nigga. Shout out to Malik. I don't even, when I'm in the street and I run into people and they say, yo, man, I love your show. What's going on, big dog? What's your name? I'm Malik. I just get an instant level of disgust. You're not my Malik, though. You ain't my Malik. I got a Malik. It's my hoe, nigga. It's my hoe. All right, y'all. Let me read some of the super chats. I knew he was gonna come back. Can't stay away. Nigga, that's why I ain't got nigga, I'm all legs today, nigga. I'm all legs today. We stand up. Oh no, I do got on my Ralph Lauren pajama shorts. See that? Got on my Ralph Lauren pajama shorts. But yeah, my nigga. A bottom eater, he a bottom. Don't y'all talk negative about Malik. I'm about to make Malik I'm about to make him a moderator in a little bit. Y'all ready to continue on with the show? Michelle says, it occurred to me that this pseudo freedom that Whoopi and other libs are striving for doesn't exist anywhere in the world. You just proved it. If it did exist, the world would literally be one big nasty ghetto. Facts. Night Shift says, sorry, Anton, the boys taking out grown folks and vice versa. It's crazy, Night Shift. Tony Wilson says, I love this fucking show, and the show loves you too, Tony. Shout out to you. My Japanese friend says, Anton, I have a question. I'm retiring from gymnastics and moving to the USA to take care of my mother in her last months. What is a good place for a Japanese boy to visit? Well, it depends on the lifestyle that you want, and it depends on what your budget is. I think you should go and visit all of the historic places and the monuments, right? You want to go to DC, obviously, and then you want to experience different cultures. I would say it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking for big city feel, because in Japan, I know that y'all used to, I don't know if you're used to Tokyo. Tokyo is like New York, but clean. Tokyo is like New York, but clean. So if you want to go to Times Square, Tokyo, I think that New York is dope. I think that going down to Miami, if you want to go and see the water and the beaches and stuff like that, but I don't know if you want to go right away. You want to kind of go after probably October, November, when hurricane season and the weather goes down a little bit. Definitely come to the Motor City and come and visit the Henry Ford Museum and all of that type of stuff. I think that you can go and visit Chicago. Just don't go to a Chicago Sky game. If you want to go to Nashville, Nashville is a nice place that you'll see a lot of country music. Vanderbilt is down there. If you go to Texas, go to Dallas, not Houston. If you go to Las Vegas, Vegas will blow your mind. I know a lot of Japanese people are into gambling. So Las Vegas is pretty awesome. You just don't want to go in the summer because it could be 110, 113 degrees. So it's a lot of places to go all across the United States of America. It's awesome. It's a really, really phenomenal place, man. It is. It's awesome. So go and visit everywhere. Visit as many places as you can and experience it. Fatir Wood says, hold up, no judges, and can't get belligerent. Some of that stuff was crazy, but they might be onto something with a few things. Maybe we need to go back to some of the ways that we used to have Fatir. Don't go to Houston, go to Dallas. If you're going to go to Texas and you're going to go to a big city, don't go to Houston, go to Dallas. I like Dallas better than Houston. Houston is a weird fucking city. Why what? Why do I like Dallas more than Houston? I think that Houston's culture is bad. I think that Houston their city planners is dumb. It take a whole hour. The traffic is bad. It take an hour to get from one end of the city, over an hour to get from one end of the city to the other, depending on traffic. Nobody really goes downtown. Most people go to the Galleria. The Galleria is kind of ghetto. It's just a weird city, bro. It is a weird city. So I like Dallas better than Houston. So you're going to need Dallas is better. Dallas is really nice. All right, y'all. Let's go over to the next thing. What are we talking about next? What y'all want to talk about next? Do y'all want to talk about? Let's see what's on the docket. Oh, before I get into Iran, Memphis. What the fuck is up with Memphis? Because the reason I'm saying what's up with Memphis, I'm gonna stop cursing so much. The reason that I'm saying what's up with Memphis is there was a trade. I'm just gonna keep it general because I know I got a lot of ladies in the chat and a lot of people may not necessarily be familiar with it. There was a trade between Memphis and Orlando. Okay. And one of the players from Orlando, or one of the players from Memphis, went down to Orlando and they're like, man, it's so great down here. Look at the locker room. It's not ghetto, all that. And then that sparked a bigger conversation about Memphis and Memphis culture. And so now you got a lot of NBA players and you got a lot of people that are having a conversation and saying, Memphis is too ghetto. Like, it's a possibility that you can die in Memphis and the players is not safe and all of this. And so that's what I'm trying to understand. Because I was actually looking to take a trip to Memphis. I've been to Nashville a bunch of times. I love Nashville. Every time that I go to Nashville, I stay at the Gaylord Opryland Hotel. It's one of the most beautiful hotels that I've ever experienced in my entire life. If y'all ever go to Nashville and you have the budget or you have the opportunity to stay at the Gaylord Opryland, the Gaylord Opryland is beautiful. At least it was when I went. I'm pretty sure that it's still dope. Let me set this up. And they have Gaylord Oprylands in more than just Memphis too. It's a great hotel. I stayed there. I loved it. But everybody is saying to avoid Memphis. And I'm trying to understand what that is. For all of y'all, for any of y'all that has ever been to Memphis, that lives in Memphis, what's up with Memphis? Why are they getting such a bad rap? Is it that bad? Because I was trying to go to Memphis for the food and see if they had any culture. I was talking to a guy that was at Gillies. So it's a bar that recently Dan Gilbert, the owner of Rocket and the owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers and Rocket companies and all of that stuff. And he's opened up a bar that's in his memory of his son, and it's called Gillies. And so I was talking to a guy at the bar, and he had flew in for an event, and he was saying how much he loved the city, how much he loved Detroit, and how Memphis, they had good bones, but they needed to change, and it's too ghetto, and then all of this stuff. And I said, is it that violent in Memphis? And he was like, yeah, man, Memphis is crazy. Memphis is crazy. And I said, okay, so I've seen this video come across my timeline. I haven't watched it yet, but I want to share it with y'all. And I'm trying to understand something. Even though they're talking about basketball in particular or the players, they're saying that Memphis is too dangerous for NBA players.
Talked about what you had been told in the past about maybe players feeling unsafe in Memphis. And Stephen A was just on First Take talking about it pretty much in the same realm as what you had said.
Somebody said it's so bad you couldn't even get an Uber there. Y'all can't get an Uber in Memphis? Yeah, that's a problem, bro.
Why are you guys both laughing? Why are you crazy?
Because I've heard the complete opposite.
Well, Marcus Morris went the same way as you as well.
Yeah, but so I know, but Marcus Morris is like from Philly, so people would just assume, oh, you're black, you feel good there. But like, these are my white guy friends that coached there for years. I'm like, dude, we love Memphis. My buddy who moved there lived there for 8 years. He was like, dude, obviously every city has bad places, right? But like, I wouldn't mind playing in Memphis. Like, if the organization is good, it's good. I just think sometimes I think that gets overblown. Sometimes that's just my opinion.
This is the one opinion I would say. This is one opinion I would say. In every city, there's areas. Now, there are certain individuals, there are certain players that like to frequent places that are more culturally similar to how they grew up, right? people that like to do. Steven Jackson being one of them. That's my brother, Captain Jack. He likes to hang out with certain people. He's talked about checking in. That's what the
translation. Steven Jackson liked to be in the hood, and he's still involved in that. A lot of people say, I don't have anything bad to say about Steven Jackson, but a lot of people say Steven Jackson is actually the new oldest YN. As they say he too old. Yo, I'm not checking in nowhere. If I ever have to be in, because I don't understand check-in culture. Check-in culture has always been, yo, you gotta let us know you coming into the city when you come. You know why check-in culture is so fucking dumb? Check-in culture is dumb because that only happens in black culture. This is the reason why I say black culture is trash. Checking in is a black thing. Don't nobody check in if you white. Don't nobody check in if you Arab. Ain't nobody checking in if you Asian. They just go wherever it is that they want to go and visit wherever it is that they want to visit, and they keep going. Check. What do you mean checking in? You mean I got to call somebody that lives there and tell them I'm coming to their city so that they can extort me and pay for protection when I come in? Man, I would rather not come if I have to sit here and be checking in to somebody else's. What do you mean? It's a city. Y'all don't even own no property there. What you mean I got to check into the city? What are you, the mayor? Right, exactly. And then they want to sit here and talk about sundown towns. That's a fact. And then they want to sit here and talk negatively about sundown towns. You're worse off going into certain areas in certain cities. You're worse off going to certain areas in certain cities. Whenever I hear dumb stuff like this, I know, okay, I have 50 states plus Puerto Rico to visit inside of the United States of America if I ever want to go anywhere. I don't have to go into your city. And I can go into another city that's in your state that's much safer. Why go to Memphis when you can go to Nashville? And this is how y'all drain resources out of y'all cities. Y'all always want to mess up and mess it up for everybody. You try to figure out, oh man, how come ain't nobody investing in this? How come ain't nobody holding it down? Get some crime under control. You telling me I can't drive down the street without getting robbed in the United States of America? Come on, man. So that's what basically he's saying. He's basically saying there are segments of people that still want to be down in the hood, that want to be in the streets. I'm not one of them. No, Detroit is not like that, Mr. 1213, at all. That was an old thing. That was a beef with Trick, and it started off with a lot of major entertainers and rappers was coming into the city, taking all of the resources, and they wouldn't have any local acts as the opening act and stuff like that. But that's not even a thing no more. Like that was way back in the early 2000s. Everybody is cool. Everybody chill. We get money with everybody. We like everybody. We got good. I just ran into who was it, Jamal Crawford yesterday. Like I ran into Zebo the other day, about a month ago. So it's people that was here. Steven Jackson and my man from All the Smoke was just here shooting a podcast. They was shooting it in Gillies the other day from All the Smoke. So people be here. Like it ain't no problems. Don't nobody have no issues. Ain't nobody robbing them. It ain't none of that. It's all safety. It's all good fun. It's all good energy here. It ain't none of that nonsense. But let me finish finding out what they have to say about Memphis.
That's his thing. Me, I want to live a mile away from a Whole Foods and a Lululemon. That is me, right? And that is what I tell everybody. I tell the real estate person when I'm showing up in Denver, where's the Whole Foods? Where's the Lululemon? That's safe. I'm cool. I'm chill. That I mind my business. Other people like to hang out in certain areas with certain groups of people, and not there's no judgment on that.
Already the shit. It's phenomenal here. And again, I know a lot of y'all is not familiar, so you don't necessarily get to see me show certain things and all of that stuff. I live downtown. Well, I spend a majority of my time downtown. It is a phenomenal city. That's Canada over there. Okay, it's Canada over there. It's the Riverwalk. It was voted the best Riverwalk in the United States of America. That's Jefferson. Woodward starts to cross there. General Motors is there. They building a new Hudson Center where General Motors is moving over there. Motor City Casino is right down the street. That's MGM Grand Casino right there. DTE, right? It's the Lodge Freeway. A lot of y'all heard I'm on a lodge with it. So the Lodge Freeway, and then it goes and across all the city. That's right there. That's the Michigan Train Depot. Ford is moving all of its technology workers over there. So it's super safe. It's a good environment, good neighborhood. And so we don't have the perspective. What people think it is versus what it is completely different. So I don't go by that. It's a phenomenal city. I love it. I would never move from here. So
I understand there's a culture shock if you grew up around, predominantly Black people, and then you're just living in a white, smoothie yogurt land area, right? That's just a very different. So you want to, but if you
actually, we have a population increase multiple years in a row. So I don't listen to people that don't have profile pictures.
In those areas, there are certain cities where those areas can be, let's say, a little bit more dangerous. Memphis is one of those areas that if you're hanging out at certain spots, certain clubs, certain bars, there's a little different energy there, right? There's a little different energy there than if you're hanging out, in certain areas. So is Memphis, in my opinion, safe and nice? 100% Memphis is. But if you venture into certain areas, just like if you in certain areas of New York City, if you're in certain areas of Chicago,
Miami, LA,
if you're in certain areas of LA, if you in certain areas of Chicago, if you in certain areas of Miami, you cannot tell me that there are blocks in Memphis that are more dangerous than blocks in Chicago or blocks in Miami or blocks in LA. So
that is true. Richard Jefferson has got a point. Every single city, no matter how much is being promoted, because like, for example, a lot of people will say, man, I want to go to Miami. No, nigga, you want to go to Biscayne. That's the street Biscayne that runs through the design district and the recently renovated and gentrified different places inside of Miami. You trying to go down to Brickell and you going on South Beach and Miami Beach, nigga. You staying in the touristy areas. You're not in Little Haiti. You probably got an Airbnb in Coral Gables, and you hang out in Midtown, and then you take the bridge over to Miami Beach. You're not in Overtown. You're not in none of those places. So, people, if you go to some of those places, you're going to see a nigga with golds and he only speaks Spanish, and it's a bunch of dope fiends everywhere sleeping on mattresses, trying to get a hit. Yeah, they're in Aventura and Sunny Isle. Nice areas, great, phenomenal for tourism or whatever. You're not in the places that they really making moves in and that they got certain stuff happening. And that's good. And it's a good thing. You're not in the hood. And every single city. And then you can go over to Canada right now, over to Windsor. I might go over to Canada today. You can go over to Canada right now, and guess what? Guess what? Bad energy in some of them neighborhoods, right over in Windsor. Every single Overtown is next to Wynwood. Wynwood has been gentrified, but Overtown is slowly doing whatever it is doing. Every city got a hood. Bro, you can go straight down. As a matter of fact, let's talk about Biscayne, right? If you go down Biscayne, but then you turn down, what is the street that right before the design district? It's over there by that Target and the Ross. You go down far, literally, if you go down 2.5 miles, right from where the design district is, right from where you see all of the Lambos and shit like that, you pull up in the gas station, they got the best wings. Best gas station wings I've ever tasted in my entire life, bro. It is the hood. 2.5 miles up the street, right from where the design district is at, right in Miami. It is the hood. It's the hood. And you got to keep your head on a swivel when you go to the gas station. Niggas riding their bikes, all of that type of stuff. Is that 36th Street? It's the hood. 2.5 miles up the street, it's the hood, bro. 100%. That's not, but they're not gonna promote it. They're not gonna sell that on TV. So, but they got the best food. And I feel comfortable there because I've spent my winters there. And so I'm always in certain places and, I know certain people there and all of that. So, but I'm still keeping my head on the swivel. I'm still in and out. I'm not hanging around. I'm not kicking it with people for a whole lot of time and none of that stuff. But it's the hood. It's the hood, bro. Real talk. It's the hood. And every place got a hood and every place got YNs and everybody. And it ain't just YNs in Miami. Them Spanish dudes, grimy. They not to be messed with, bro.
So it's really about where you choose to spend your energy, right? If you like to go to the barbershop on that side of town, there's a different energy. There's a different energy over there, right? Like that's all I'm saying. Pert, you have the floor.
So let me say this. I signed with the University of Memphis.
Yes, 36.
I was going to Memphis.
Go down 36th Street. Go down 36th Street. 100%. Somebody got it exactly right. Somebody must live down there. Somebody lived down there. Yep, because right here, and this is all where it's sweet. So, all right, so let me show y'all. So this Denny's restaurant right here, I don't even know how they still open. They got a Taco Bell right here. And so this is Biscayne. All right. This is Biscayne. This is Biscayne right here. This is 36. And then you can go over here to Miami Beach. And this is how you get over here. And then you having a party over here. All right. This is where all of the partying is at. You're on Miami Beach. You're having a good time. All right. But here's the thing. I like to stay right in this area. Right. I like to stay right over here. All of this right here is good money. All of this is good money right here. All right. You go down to 36, all over here, this is all good money. Anything over here is good money. You're going to have some condos over here. It's going to be a Carter's, a home goods store. It's all going to be good money over here. Anything over here, the shops in North Miami, this is good money. And now if you go over, right, across the street, then you're going to head over to the design district. Okay, so this is the design district over here. This is where you're going to have all of your high-end stores, the Louis Vuittons, the Versace's, all of that stuff, right? This is where all of the money is. It's going to be a lot of money. You're going to see everybody pulling up, getting to the bag, all of that stuff. This is where Zib, the watch guy, like to do interviews. Man Kevo like to head over there. So that's where you want to be, all right? But here's the thing. If you go right here, so again, remember, you're going right across the bridge. But if you stay on 36th Street and you keep going down and you start getting past that KFC and the gas and the fire station and stuff like that, you're going to start getting over to Primo's Market, King Cash Pawn Jewelry Store, the more pawn shops. This is where you want to kind of start putting your head on a swivel. All right. Once you start getting over to here, the Superior Glass, the Family Dollar Store, all of that stuff, you start getting over here, this is what you're going to start seeing. Right up the street, Legal Law. This is what you're going to see literally right up the street in Miami. All right. And don't turn down too many streets because then you're going to have some problems. And that's what I'm saying. Right across the street from all of the biggest shops and where everybody is doing their content and all of this stuff it's going to be hoods. Make the wrong turn and it's going to be hoods everywhere is all I'm saying. So don't think that just because, oh man, Miami, or Los Angeles, New York, or all of these places, it's a hood in every single city in the United States of America. Every single one of them is going to be a hood. That's all I'm saying. So don't overplay your hand. Don't think that you safe just because you're in a nice area. Because 2 blocks up, it's gonna be different.
It's with John Calipari, right? Like I went
That
there,
bag.
went on a college
Oh,
visit.
he definitely got the bag.
Yeah, something like that. Here's the thing, right? There was NIL before NIL. Here's the thing. The Jimmy Butler situation. Ali, you caught that? The Jimmy Butler situation. When he was, when Miami Heat, when he requested a trade from the Heat, the Memphis Grizzlies were in the mix. Jimmy Butler reported, right? This facts is out there. Correct me if I'm wrong, Ali. He didn't want to go to Memphis. He said it, right? Nobody knew why he didn't want to go to Memphis, right? Publicly. But behind the scenes, the sources were that he said it was too dangerous, right? These are reliable sources, right? That's Jimmy said it, right? He didn't want to go to Memphis because, it was too dangerous. That's not what he wanted to be a part of. So I'm on the outside looking in on the Desmond Bain situation. KD, one of his funniest tweets he put out the other day, that dap up between Jamal Mosley and fucking Desmond Bain. Did y'all hear how loud it was?
He said they heard that dap in Memphis.
Yeah, he said they heard that dap all the way in Memphis. So when I'm watching Desmond Bain get traded to the Magic, do y'all see the glow on his fucking face? It's like a fucking a breath of fresh air. I'm not here to listen. I'm just telling y'all.
Channing didn't have that look when he was in Orlando. Channing didn't have that.
That wasn't the same, brother. That wasn't the same.
Channing didn't have that look when
I
he was in
sort of did.
Orlando.
Them checks were different, and that Florida tax. But hey, I'm not a humidity guy. Okay,
bro, you're there in the winter, and your team sucks, so you were out of there in April.
Yeah.
Hey, I also had Scott Skiles as a coach, so trust me.
That's different.
See?
That makes it humid. That life becomes humid.
So apparently everybody is kind of down on Memphis right now. I'm trying to figure out whether or not it's a play. I don't know if I should ever go and visit Memphis. I'm kind of iffy. The older I get, the less likely I am to go into certain places, just simply because it's just not worth the effort. You know what I'm saying? It's not worth the flight. I agree, Greg Blade. Memphis do need some good real estate developers to change the city. In order for a city to be great, you need 2 or 3 billionaires in there that said, you know what, we want to do something different with the city. For us, is Dan Gilbert, Roger Penske, the Illich family, all of those type of people. It's a lot of millionaires and billionaires in Michigan. We got Matt Ishba. He's building the biggest house in Michigan right now. Matt Ishba, he owns companies here. He owns what's the name of it? He employed a lot of MSU players. He employed Mateen Cleaves and all of that. But he's building the biggest house here in Michigan, in a suburb outside of the city. A lot of billionaires and millionaires live here. A lot of billionaires and millionaires live here. So Matt Ishba owns the Phoenix Suns. He's actually building the biggest house in Michigan. Literally building the biggest house in Michigan. So a lot of people don't know. And see, from my perspective, if more millionaires is moving here and more billionaires are building here, that's the city for me to be. Now, it's the dumb motherfuckers that be in a chat that don't have no profile picture. They say stuff like, man, I don't know. I would never. Okay. I'm going to pay attention to what the people that got the resources and where they spending their money at. That's what I'm paying attention to. Yep, United Warehouse Mortgage Company. That's correct. I'm going to pay attention to what the people that got the money, what they're doing. I'm not paying attention to what people that don't have no money and what they're talking about. Follow the money. That's rule number 1, is that you always follow the money. Let me see something. I don't even know if that is showing right now. Always follow the money. Coolidge, Big Beaver. Where's Woodward? Maple. That's it. M1, Maple, Birmingham. Go up a little bit. Where is this, guys? Not right there. Not Big Beaver. I don't remember where it was. Let's see. Is it here? You coming to Michigan in 2 weeks for a wedding, Messi? What you doing in Michigan for a wedding? You coming to Michigan in 2 weeks for a wedding, Messi? What? What you doing over here? Oh, yeah, this is where it is. I think I see where it is now. That's Big Beaver. Where is Matt Ish's house at? Charing. Is it in there? I don't remember. I don't remember exactly where it is. But it's hidden away, boy. It is way back in somewhere hidden away. It's a house over here that I love, that I want to build, that I literally want to mimic. But it is hidden away. It's way in the back, hidden away somewhere. And it's crazy. It's crazy what that house looks like. Anyways, make sure y'all hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let me see something. They say it costs $77 million. 60,000. Oh, snap. This is it. Yep, that's it right there. That's not the most recent picture of it, though. Strathmore Road. Yep, this is it. It's completely blocked off, though. This is crazy, bro. It is literally insane. Anyways, again, let me go ahead and get back to the show. I don't want to continue to be distracted. What up to everybody in the chat? What up, 2K? Let me read some of these super chats. Y'all wouldn't move to Memphis? Is it anybody in here that would move to Memphis? Miguel says, Anton want to see Memphis. Play Pooh Shiesty. Shiesty summer music video, just the intro, just the beginning. You'll get it ASAP. I already know what that is. Wesley Turner says Steven Jackson and Jim Jones are the oldest YNs. James Reed says, I served 10 years in special ops. I spent time in the Middle East, Central, and South America. You must understand the history of Iran to know what you are up against. We cannot allow Iran to have nuclear weapons at any capacity. Shout out to James Reed, and thank you for your service, my friend. You serve special ops? Chris Cunningham says, Black culture doesn't exist. We like people telling us what to do. Wear these clothes, buy from here, support this person. We don't even have our own identity. Irvin House says, just a little something for the collection plate. Thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. I've been a consistent watcher over the years. I love your views, mindset, and most importantly, your hustle. Keep doing what you do, big dog. Sky's the limit. Wesley Turner says, we have Jared Kushner in my area terraforming here. Terraforming? 2K says, today is one of my 60-day, day one of my 60-day marathon. I see you grinding this Saturday too. Let's get it. Let me see what 2K is talking about. 2K got a marathon going on right now? Let me see what's happening. 2K, when you starting your marathon? What time do you start your marathon, 2K? We got to hold our dog 2K Talks with 2K. If y'all haven't checked out his channel and kicked it with him, 2K is doing a 60-day marathon. You a better man than me, bro. 60 days straight. What time when you starting it today, 2K? That's crazy. You gonna stream 60 days straight? Man. Shout out to Space Strip. Space Drip said your name is APAC. Listen, I trust your car. If your car timed you out, it's got to be a reason. What time you tapping in? Because I'm a watch. I'm gonna tap in today. 60 days, that's a lot, bro. Yeah, Just Christian had a good question. He said, how many hours per day? Anthony in the building. Anthony says, what up, though, with the 10 ball? I appreciate you, Anthony. Aaron C says, I live in Memphis. The crime is so bad to where there's not a day that goes by without some crazy BS going on. Aside, I love the opportunity to meet you if you ever decide to be in town. If I come down that way, I'm going to come to Nashville. I'm not going to go to Memphis. Y'all telling me, y'all telling me what I need to know. 2K, what time you going to start streaming today, big dog, before I continue on with the show? And 2K working. He working. 2K is working, y'all. Nashville is the play. All right, y'all, let me get over to the next thing. What we talking about next? I hope he got a lot of sleep. Israel, Memphis. Oh, Iran. Let's go over to Iran. Let's talk about Iran real quick. Or Iran. Iran. Let's talk about it. Give me a second.
Straight to our top story this morning. Israel says it's currently striking military infrastructure in Iran after killing an Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps commander who they say funded and armed Hamas ahead of the October 7th attacks in Israel.
Mike Tobin is live in Tel Aviv with the very latest details. Hey, Mike.
Good morning, Griff. Good morning, gang. Israeli fighter jets are active right now in the southwestern portion of Iran. According to the IDF, they're striking targets. And this follows another round of Iranian missiles that flew at central Israel last night. Those missiles, once again, creating fireballs in the sky as they re-entered the atmosphere. Israeli missile interceptors in hot pursuit in the sky. The town of Holon, next to Tel Aviv, took a hit, resulting in a fire on the top of an apartment building. No reports of injuries. This is the second time Holon has been hit in the past 3 days. Israeli warplanes have been on the hunt in Iran. The IDF reports the assassination of key Iranian figures. One of them was struck in a car. Benham Shahriyahi is his name. The IDF says he was a commander of the force that transferred weapons to Hamas, Hezbollah, and the Houthi rebels. The IDF also says they assassinated Saeed Izzadahi last night. He is said to have been one of the architects of the October 7th massacre and a key person in the relationship between Iran and Hamas. He was killed in the hideout apartment in the Iranian town of Qum. The destruction of Iran's missiles continues. The IDF estimates they have destroyed more than half of Iran's missile capability.
Goal was to make sure that they are in disarray, that they have a hard time carrying out operations. Obviously, if you don't keep pushing all the time, it might change. They might regroup, they might rearrange, but we're pushing all the time. We're hunting down their commanders. We're hunting down their missile launchers, making sure they don't have a second to regroup and kind of rearrange their operations.
And Iran's foreign minister, Abbas Araghchi, says the regime will not return to the negotiating table as long as Israeli strikes are going into Iran. Guys, back to you.
And no indication, Mike, that's going to stop anytime soon. It seems Israel is continuing to pretty much have a full court press, if you will.
They're not slowing down.
Right. They have freedom of the skies over Iran, having decimated their air defenses. And again, updating what we talked about just at the top of my live shot here, Israeli warplanes are active as we speak over southwest Iran.
Go ahead.
No, please.
Mike, when we talk about Iran's air defenses, going into this operation, there was a little bit of ambiguity over what air assets Iran may have, if they had some fighter jets, even some old American ones. Is there no air force for Iran at this point?
It doesn't seem they got many aircraft off the ground at all, if they had any. They had things like old U.S. F-14s. They had purchased 79 of them before the Islamic Revolution. They wanted to get 80, but the revolution happened. And I remember about a decade ago speaking with an Israeli F-16I pilot. He said, please put one of those things in the air against me. The F-14s, as much as they're a part of U.S. history, they're antiquated compared to the things that the Israeli Air Force has now.
Yeah, they peaked at Top Gun. My question about the American citizens there, and especially outside of Tel Aviv, my girlfriend's parents, for example, in Jerusalem, they got separated. The dad actually was on vacation or visiting the children elsewhere. And now the mom's going to get on a 16-hour bus ride to Egypt to get out. Talk to us about the tenor there with the Americans and whether indeed they are staying put or want to come back.
Well, you do have a lot of Israelis anyway who are very interested in being here. You have a lot of Israelis who are trying to get back into the country just to show solidarity. But you do have some of the American Jews who are here, and they're nervous about traveling through Arab nations, going out through, we came in through Jordan. A lot of them are nervous about going out through Jordan. They're nervous about going down through the south of Israel, through the Sinai Peninsula, and through Egypt. But people have done it. They can make that trip. They've got options. You've also got some transportation that's being arranged through the U.S. Embassy here. So they've got options to get out, but it's a nervous thing for Jews who are visiting Israel.
So this is the latest update of what's going on. They continue to kill Iranian commanders. I can't imagine what it would like to be like this on a war on the ground. But the one thing that I stand for, even though I don't necessarily agree with the United States of America ever getting involved with anything, and I still don't, and I've been saying this literally for a long time now, I still don't understand our tie to Israel and why we support them so much. I trust the President of the United States of America. I trust the intelligence community. I trust his decision making. I voted him in as president for other reasons, but it doesn't mean that I don't trust him. But one thing I know for sure is that I will never, ever say that I stand with Iran like a lot of these liberals. I will never say that I stand with Iran. I may not agree with our support for them financially or in military equipment as far as Israel. I may not ever agree with, the idea to ever do that whatsoever. I am always going to stand with the President of the United States of America. But one thing I know for sure is that I will never, ever support Iran. That would be crazy. And when I see people, honestly, it is the weirdest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. The weirdest thing that I've ever seen in my entire life. AB says, Anton, the anti-Semite, how dare you not stand with Israel? Nigga, put a shirt on. Nigga, you got a camera phone in the mirror taking a picture. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't talk to niggas like that take a profile picture with no shirt on. I see a lot of liberals out here sitting here talking about you could do two things at the same time, Mud. You don't have to necessarily trust. Oh, you're being sarcastic? My bad. You don't have to necessarily trust Israel to stand with Iran. Like, I'm never going to say, oh man, Iran wasn't bothering anything. Man, Iran has been involved in everything, the military conflict that's been going on over in Ukraine and Russia. They've been tied to so many different things, funding different things. Everything that's happening over in Iran is anti-American, anti-us. So to see people sitting there in America, sitting there saying that they actually support what's going on in Iran is crazy to me. It's 100% crazy to me. It say Iran is not to be trusted either. Of course, Iran is not to be trusted. Now, I don't care for us getting involved in military conflict with other countries, but I am never going to sit here and say, oh, man, Iran deserves. Man, what the fuck is y'all talking about? It is, man. It's a weird generation. It's a weird group of people that's having these conversations. And I'm starting to see this junk pop up on my algorithm. And I'm actually happy I can see it because I can see that a lot of people actually just hate Trump. You say Israel started this whole thing. This thing goes back way farther than just the last 2 weeks, big dog. It's way older than the last 2 weeks. As far as I can remember, we've always been sitting here having a conversation about Iran not having a nuclear weapon. Always. And I remember when Trump was throwing sanctions on Iran back in his first term. So this goes back way farther than the past 2 weeks. You can't just say, well, Israel started it first. It goes way further back, bro. It's a lot deeper than just what you see on the surface over the last 2 weeks. Yeah, they were having peace talks allegedly, but they've always been having these talks. And Iran has never really come to the table and let inspectors actually inspect their nuclear facilities and all of this stuff. They've been always wanting to get a nuclear weapon and all of this. And it's like, why are they so desperate for a nuclear weapon? You know? So to just break it down to the fact that Israel attacked them over the last 2 weeks, I think is short-sighted. I think it's very short-sighted. Should be interesting, though, what happens over the next 2 weeks. But I support Trump, and I trust his decision-making, and I think he's going to make the right decision. J-Lo on the track, VP. What up, J-Lo on the track? I don't think I've seen you in a while. What up, big dog? How you feel? Says, what up, family? Ready for the meetup? This is my last meetup before I'm stationed in Japan. Oh, man, Japan is an awesome place. Japan is an awesome place to be. Looking forward to seeing the group. Yeah, shout out to everybody that's going to be in DC in about a week. Actually, literally a week from now. Shout out to all of y'all. Let's see. Skinny Boy Django says, happy anniversary. What up, though? Thank you. I appreciate you. Chris Cunningham says, the Israelites and the J people play a huge part, a big part in our government and in our media. Pretty much they have say in everything that we do. They fund a lot of nonsense. Probably. I wouldn't doubt that. I wouldn't doubt it at all. What are we talking about next? What we got? Let's see. We talked about Memphis, the Water Boys, Israel and Iran, women in Iran. We can talk about AI. Oh, JD Vance has some stuff to say about Iran. Should we go on JD Vance or should we go over to something else? Or do we go over to AI? Or do we go over to this Trump criticizing Juneteenth? We can go over to this whole Juneteenth conversation. Y'all tell me what y'all want to talk about next. Trump, JD Vance. All right, so let's go JD Vance and then let's go to let's do AI right after that. Let's see what JD Vance is talking about. JD Vance.
Sure. Why come to LA right now? Well, first of all, we've wanted to come and check out what's actually going on the ground, show some support to the FBI agents, the National Guardsmen, and the Marines who have been here, I think, bringing peace to what was a very chaotic situation thanks to the leadership of Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass. If you really think about what's at stake here is the basic principle of, do we get to enforce federal immigration law when the people's duly elected president says we've got to enforce our borders? And I think obviously the answer is yes. And what you saw in Los Angeles was really, I think, a conspiracy of the mayor, the governor, and a lot of radical left protesters who are going to say, no, we're not going to let people enforce the immigration laws of the United States of America. We in the Trump administration had a different attitude towards that. Obviously, you've seen that immigration happen all over Southern California. I think we've now restored some order to Los Angeles, and thank God that we did, because I think absent President Trump's leadership, you would have seen the city really spiral out of control, which we don't want. I think it's a beautiful city. It's got a lot to offer, but you've got to be able to enforce immigration law.
So the riots have stopped. There's still protests, and there's still a lot of tension out there. It feels like something can explode at any moment. There's a lot of anti-ICE sentiment in LA. What's your metric for determining how long the military is going to be here in Los Angeles? Things are calm right now. Are you going to keep them here for a while in case there's more activity? When do you pull them out?
I think what the president says, you got to do this case by case, right? See how this goes, see where we are in a few days, ensure that you don't have the increase in rioting activity. I mean, look, when these riots break out, people can't access basic services, stores get destroyed, people's economic life is destroyed. And of course, if the riots really get out of control, you have people violently attacked. And that's, of course, what drove this initially, is you had FBI agents who were actually being attacked by a mob, and the Los Angeles Police Department, great people, by the way, but they were being handcuffed by their political leadership from enforcing the law, saving our FBI agents, and preventing violence against federal law enforcement. So we're going to pull out the troops when we feel confident that level of instability is not going to return. But of course, when that happens and when the president makes that decision, of course, it's easy to put people back in if you feel like that rioting starts to ramp up again.
At the beginning of the administration, the idea was worse first, right? Targeting the worst of the worst criminals.
Sure.
You guys are still doing that, but we're also starting to see Home Depots getting hit, car washes, agriculture workers. Is the net widening? Because we hear, there's targets. They want 3,000 arrests a day. So are you guys widening the net in terms of who you're going after now?
Well, first of all, Bill, let's step back and appreciate just the radical success of the Trump administration. Simply through having a president who cared about border enforcement, we've gone from close to 3 million illegal border crossings per year to actually net negative illegal immigration in this country. In other words, we're deporting far more people than are coming in illegally into our country. That's exactly what should be happening. And that really all it required was a president who empowered federal law enforcement to do the job of enforcing our borders. So yes, you're right. Now, what do we do? What the president has said is we really want to focus on the illegal immigrants who came during the Biden administration, but also we're enforcing everywhere. In other words, the president has said, if you are an illegal immigrant into this country, you ought to voluntarily go back and come through the proper channels, because we don't want people who have come into the country illegally just staying here indefinitely. That's not the policy of the Trump administration. We've empowered law enforcement to really enforce the law. Yes, we're focusing on the most violent criminals. We're focusing on people who came here illegally over the Biden administration, but put simply, if you came into the country illegally, if you're not a legal resident of the United States of America, you ought to go back home and come through proper channels.
So long story short, he took the long road there, and JD Vance is a master of his words. JD Vance is a master of his words. He took the long way there. But basically what he said is, yes, we have expanded our net, and yes, we are going after everybody and everything to make sure that people are not supposed to be inside of the United States of America. That's what he said. He took the long way there, but he definitely eventually got there. He tried to make it seem like, and listen, I'm okay with it. What they're basically doing is they got to massage it so that people feel comfortable with the rhetoric. But in reality, yep, we going to Home Depot. Yep, we going to the swap meet. Yep, we going to the illegal stands. Yep, we going to get every single person. Is not just the illegals that are committing crimes. It's the illegals that's here illegally. So yeah, he basically took the long way home to say we're going after everybody.
Basically, it's what Tom Homan has said repeatedly. If you're in the U.S. illegally, you're on the table.
If you're in the U.S. illegally, you are at risk of deportation, though obviously we're focusing law enforcement resources on the worst offenders, on violent criminals, and on people who came here recently. That's the main focus. And unfortunately, thanks to the Biden administration, there are millions upon millions of those individuals. We're going to try to enforce immigration laws primarily against them. But yeah, Tom Homan, the president, I'm going to say it right now. If you're in the country illegally, you are at risk of deportation because you shouldn't be here if you're not consistent with the laws of our country.
So you're here in a big sanctuary city, Los Angeles. There's been a lot of resistance in sanctuary cities across the country, Boston, here in LA, activists. You've even got politicians interfering, some politicians getting arrested for interfering with ICE. Is there any world in which these activists and politicians throw enough sand in the gears for ICE and the Trump administration where you guys slow down some of this enforcement? Karen Bass says ICE has to just flat out stop. Is there any world and that's a possibility?
No, that's ridiculous. But you are right that they're trying to throw sand in the gears of enforcement. That's what we see with a lot of these ridiculous court cases. The good news, Bill, is that you're starting to see that the courts start to side with the Trump administration on this very simple principle that the American people elected more border enforcement, and that's exactly what the president is trying to deliver. So I think that with the courts doing what they're doing, and you see us ramping up the deportation efforts, I really do think that you're seeing the enforcement against illegal immigration take a step forward, not a step backward, even though you're right, a lot of far left politicians are trying to change the dynamic. Now, here's the thing, though, about those politicians is how crazy is it that we have a country where you have elected representatives of the American people who seem far more interested in illegal immigrants than they do the citizens of their own country. Right. When Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass give Medicaid to illegal immigrants, let's be honest about what they're doing. They're literally taking medication and medical services away from poor Americans so that they can give it to illegal immigrants. Why would you want to do that? And why would we be surprised that when you do that, you have an illegal immigration problem on the scale of what they have in California? Immigration enforcement actually should work, states and the federal government working hand in hand. Gavin Newsom should be saying, we're not going to give free benefits to illegal aliens. We're going to give those benefits to American citizens. Meanwhile, us and the Trump administration are going to enforce immigration law. That symbiosis, that working together, I think will make the American people safer and it'll make our country much better off. But look, if you're going to have politicians like Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom who try to fight immigration enforcement, we're going to use every legal tool at our disposal to get illegal immigrants out of our country. That's what the president was elected to do, and he takes it very seriously.
Last question on this topic. If Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass see this interview, what's your message to them?
Our message to them is very simple. Just do your job. It is so simple to have a country where you do well by the American citizens, by the people who have the legal right to be here, and you enforce the law against people who have violated the law. I don't know why this is a controversial proposition. I don't know why Democrats and Republicans can't agree on it. Republicans under President Trump are very clear. We don't want to let people who are in our country illegally stay in our country. We want to enforce the border. We want to make it safe for American citizens to live good lives in their own community.
Yeah, Chris Cunningham and Anthony says, I wonder how many sleeper cells that we have. That's the part that I'm concerned about because it's almost like, you know, tying it back to this whole Israel-Iran thing, right? Because we have not had safe borders, because we have not had people here crossing over here legally, because we have not been able to vet who comes over here, and it was basically a free-for-all. When you see what's happening overseas, whether it be Russia, Ukraine, our disagreement with China, Taiwan, over Taiwan, right? When you see what's happening with Israel and Iran, when you hear all of the threats, it always gives me pause, right? And the reason that it gives me pause is because it's like, well, did our previous administration basically open a door for them to plant themselves into the United States of America and put us at a disadvantage? And this is one of the reasons why we have to be a lot more vigilant against illegal migrants being in the United States of America, because we never vetted anybody that came over here. When you have probably upwards of over 10 million people that came into the United States of America over the last 4 years, even during a time where we were supposed to be under lockdown, right? It's crazy. That is crazy. And so that is the thing that gives me pause, right? That is the thing that bothers me. When I see these liberals out here advocating and saying, let everybody stay, leave the borders open, they're basically giving our adversaries and enemies permission to set up shop in the United States of America, and they don't even know how disastrous it's going to be. But then if anything was to ever happen, then it would be like, oh my God, I can't believe it. That's why Kamala Harris being a border czar and Biden could go down in history as one of the worst presidents and vice presidents in the worst administration of all time. All time. This is why Congress has to give us a budget to support immigration customs enforcement. This is the reason why we have to get people out of here. This is the reason why it's important for you to come here legally, because we have to be able to know who's here at a minimum. Forget the whole we want the best and brightest. At a minimum, this is public safety. This is public safety. We don't know who here. You don't know nobody from nobody. You meet this guy and they probably just cool, regular, acting like they normal, everyday people every single day. And that's their job. That's what they're supposed to do. Guess what? Guess what? You don't know them. Bruh, you don't even know how nasty and perverted your neighbor is. Your neighbor is your neighbor can't wait for AI to develop some robots so it can fuck on some sentient beings. You don't know that nigga. You don't know nothing about your neighbor. You don't know them. And you telling me you know somebody that's from another country that probably don't even really speak the language, don't care about your culture or none of that stuff. Y'all let millions and tens of millions of people over here in the United States of America. Bro, we don't even trust the person that we live next to half the time. And y'all advocating for people to be here that we don't even know. You don't know these niggas. You don't know nothing. He got a fetish for feet, and that person over there, they got a fetish for navels or some shit, some weird shit, right? And then you let in a bunch of people that ain't even from here that don't give a fuck about America, and you comfortable. And we got Obama sitting up there with his legs crossed while his wife sit there and talk about how she don't want a son that even remotely is like Obama. And he's sitting up there with his legs crossed talking about Harvard and how they need to stand against the Trump administration. Straight up, Molly, they want to fuck your neighbor. They can't wait for you, you know what I'm saying, one of y'all chicks to wear a shirt that come down here so they can see your neighbor. And they, neighbor. You don't know what turn these niggas on. These is pay pigs. Your neighbor is a pay pig. Ava, yeah, Sabrina, yep, they want your neighbor. They want your neighbor. Yes, they do. You don't know what these niggas got demons on their back. Demons don't make sense for these people. They don't make sense for people. Y'all keep trying to make sense. Well, why would anybody want to fuck somebody's neighbor? Because they got a demon on them and they don't know what the hell is going on. Y'all better stay prayed up. Y'all better get prayed up. You better get prayed up. Y'all out here trusting people, hugging everybody. You don't know these people. You have no clue who these people are, what they got going on, none of that. And y'all just let a whole bunch of people, Loretta, they let a whole bunch of people coming over there and you don't know. Your neighbor want to fuck your neighbor. Yes, he do. Yes, he do. With that little nub he got in his pants, trying to get him some navel badussi. Yes, he is. Trying to lay you on your stomach and then go into a naked X. You go this way, he go this way. He trying to lay on your navel. Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Think I'm lying. Ask him. Show him your neighbor and watch he start drooling. He wants your neighbor. But let's get back to the show. We let a bunch of people in here that we don't even know, and we got people protesting in behalf of.
Meanwhile, you have Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom, who seem to want to do everything that they can to make it harder to enforce the law, to empower violent rioters to assault federal law enforcement officers. I mean, Bill, I guess my message to Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass is, why don't you...
Somebody said, what if you got an Audi? They trying to turn it into an innie. They're trying to turn an Audi into an innie.
Empower the great people of the Los Angeles Police Department to put down some of these violent rioters rather than encouraging them? Why don't you tell illegal immigrants to comply with the law rather than encouraging radicals to assault our FBI agents who are trying to do their job? It's very simple. Support law enforcement. We think great things could happen for the state of California, but it's not going to happen if you have failed political leadership.
I do want to ask you about Iran. There have been all sorts of articles and media reporting about this supposed rift in MAGA world and amongst Republicans about what to do with Iran. How do you see things right now?
Look, I what the president said is so perfect about this. I think he gets to define America first because he's the person who ran, who was elected, and who actually leads this movement. And for all of the online chatter, what I see, and I've seen it very privately, of course, and I've seen it very publicly, the president is very focused on a core American national interest. And that national interest is the state of Iran should not have a nuclear weapon. We're pursuing everything that we can to make sure that happens. We're pursuing diplomatic channels. As you can see, we're supporting the Israelis as they engage in these military operations. We're shooting down Iranian missiles that are coming into Israel. We've been very clear. We can't let Iran have a nuclear weapon. And so for the folks I think who are frustrated with something about the president's policy, what I'd say is, do you think Iran should have a nuclear weapon? I think most people would say no. Has the president done anything other than use American influence and power to try to accomplish that goal? No, he hasn't. So support the president, recognize he's trying to do something that's very difficult, that other administrations failed to do, and that's end the Iranian nuclear program. I think he's going to do it, and he's going to do it by using clear, restrained, strong American leadership. That's what he was elected to do, and that's what he's going to do.
Shout out to JD Vance for communicating clearly how liberals need to get off of this whole train of being against Trump so that we can actually think that's in the best interest of Americans. Let me read some super chats really quickly. Yo, I had a dream. It seemed like the dream wasn't that long. It was a real short dream. It's a really, really short dream. I had a dream last night. It was a crazy dream. Crazy dream. But it was really short. The dream was, for whatever reason, this girl, she had her pants down. And I know it's a crazy way to start off a story, right? This girl, she had her pants down, but she had on a bikini. And in her bikini, it was like a Yeti in that bitch. Like, not a real Yeti, but it was like so hairy. And it was like bolt. The hair was like coming out. And I was like, put some pants on. And then my dream cut off. That was my dream. I don't know what that means. They say dreams have meanings. It was a woman, and she had her pants down, and she had on a bikini, but it was so much hair bulging out. It was almost like she had never shaved. And it wasn't like curly, but it was like a nappy hair. It was like a really nappy hair. And I was like, pull your pants up. Dream just cut off. I don't know. I'm not a Bush guy. Slimmy, what's wrong? I'm not a Bush guy. I'm not. I'm a dolphin. I believe in dolphin activity. Class E, you're not rocking? It was like a Yeti in her pants. Like, Jesus, that's a lot of hair. Pull your pants up. Dream just cut off. Oh no, I was never falling for a Dusty. That boy Anton on some weird shit today. That's weird. That's what my dream was. What am I supposed to do? I don't like Yetis. Listen, I'm not a Yeti guy. I like smooth, shaved, clean odorless, good smelling. Ellen said that's fixable. See what I'm saying? See, I see you, Ellen. I see you, Ellen. I see you, Ellen. That's fixable. 100% is fixable. 100% is fixable. What up, Ida? What up, L? The retro. Y'all like retro? Y'all like y'all women retro? Nah, hair. That's the thing. People don't. First of all, I don't think that most people know how to clean properly. And the other part is that for people that have a lot of hair, most of them, because they don't know how to clean and condition and shampoo and get their stuff out properly, it holds more nastiness inside of it. Real talk, I'm telling you. Olin says, 1947, the British and the U.S. created a plan to resettle Jews in the Gaza Strip against the wishes of the Arabs. The partition plan started the hostilities in 1947 with Persian Iran vowing to destroy it. Shout out to you, Olin. Classy B says, blessed to have the morning show on a Saturday. Salute to you, my friend. Mika G is in the building with a couple super stickers. I appreciate you, Mika. Abe the Hunter says, what about the Audrey Hale manifesto? Crazy work. Swiper no swiping says, was COVID a play to give time for illegals to hide? I don't know what the play was with that. Aaron says, Americans protesting for illegals should trade their citizenship to be in their shoes. The illegal migrants would gladly switch places. Slammy in the building says, we don't know how many people cross these borders as spies. Literally crossed over here just to set up shop and are plotting on the country right now. Extreme, but it's possible. Shaking my head, can't put anything beyond power mongers. I agree with you 100%, Slimmy. Up top, Cisco says, as a legal migrant and proud U.S. citizen, we need to make sure that Dems can't get their way. They're only mad because their vote isn't getting sent back. They need to go hard on blue states. Spacer says, call him Larry the Naval guy. The Navals, man. I don't know what it is, but Navals is doing something to people right now. Let's talk about next dream. It's going to be shaving that Yeti. Please no, I'm straight. I believe that you got to give women a level of privacy. Give them some privacy to get themselves together. Just give me the finished product. I don't want to see the process. I'm not interested in seeing your transformation. Listen, groom, shave, get yourself together, go get you a spa day, get your back massage, go get your hair and nails done, go get yourself together, brush your teeth, all of that. I don't need to be there for the process. Just give me the finished results. We don't all need to know everything. We don't need to see everything. I believe in giving women privacy. Give women some privacy. I don't need to see the process. I don't need to see how you got here. Just show up. We don't need to see how you got here. We just want to see how you showed up. All right. So I'm off that. I don't need to see it. I'm not interested in getting into it. Give a woman her privacy, and then let them show up however they show up as the finished product. Let's talk about AI. Tim Burns says the problem is AI is going to control us rather than them. Maybe. I seen Andrew Yang. I used to be a heavy supporter of Andrew Yang and his perspective on what technology is going to be in the future. Yakar says, AD, you think the same way with people. You think the same way with people who work for you. Just give me the finished product. I don't need to know how you got there. People explaining it to me. Hey, so this is okay. Listen, let's skip that part and let's get to the part that you are already there. You know what I'm saying, Mika? Give me the part where you there. Just give me the finished product. Andrew Yang. Andrew Yang was on CNBC, and he was talking about AI and the impact that it was going to have on jobs. Let's get into it.
A reduction of its corporate workforce eventually over the next few years. He wrote in a memo to employees that they should figure out, in his words, how to get more done with scrappier teams. That's nice. Joining us now, former Democratic presidential candidate Andrew Yang. It's a daunting future we have, Mr. Yang, obviously. And you've been, I said, I was at was it a book party that that I attended for you?
A book event.
6 years ago, talking about this on the horizon and the need for maybe even back then
Andrew Yang was
universal
ahead of his
basic
time.
income. I guess
He was
at
way
this
ahead of his
point you're thinking, wow, it's accelerating faster than you even thought.
Yeah, it's here even faster than I'd imagined back in 2019 and 2020. And I talked to CEOs who are replacing thousands of customer service workers with AI, entire design departments, even coders are being supplanted. And Becky and I were just talking about how we used to tell our kids, hey, if you major in computer science, you'll be good to go. And now those graduates are having a hard time finding jobs. It's starting to appear in the numbers for recent college graduates and entry-level white-collar work.
If if you're a science fiction believer, I was going to ask you whether the whole Luddite chorus that we've heard for 150 years, that it's never actually it's always been better technology long term. Maybe not always, but many times even more jobs are created from the technologies that being displaced, whether it's internal combustion engines or whatever you want to look at. You would argue this time is different with AI. And
I think that soon the luxury is going to be manual products. So I'll give you an example, right? This Apple Watch right here is so normal, it's so common, it's so regular for people to be out here with Apple Watches that the luxury item then becomes the actual physical products that has a regular, dial and all of that stuff. The new luxury items is going to be that. So like even with cars, right? You see driverless vehicles, you see autonomous vehicles, you see Waymo and Tesla and all of this stuff. And so that stuff is going to become so normalized that the luxury item is going to be the internal combustion engine car. It's going to be the old school. It's going to be the physical car, the manual. You know what I'm saying? The car that you actually don't have any screens in it. It's going to be mostly buttons, and the new luxury is correct. It's going to be vintage. It's going to be physical. The classics. It's going to be stuff with buttons on it. Things that don't have any screens in it. That is going to be the play. I'm telling you, it's going to be so commonplace. It's going to be so normalized. It's going to be so a part of our lives that the physical touch, like craftsmanship, is going to be championed. They spent well over $1 billion rebuilding the Michigan Train Depot. Ford Motor Company did. And I recently took a tour and I went through and I looked at all of it. And I was one of the last people to ever explore that because I used to do urban exploration on my other channel. I was one of the last people that actually documented and explored the Michigan Train Central Depot. And the way that they describe things and how the craftsmanship is and how they did things back in the day and how fast it took for them to build things, but they actually did it with physical manual labor, and they building buildings faster. They built buildings faster back in the day that was more grand and had more craftsmanship in it than it takes to build a building today with all of the technology, right? And so when you go through and you look at it and you look at the tile work, and they preserved most of the floors, and even they had the 3D print and then bring in hand craftsmen from London and from overseas and stuff in order to redo it back to its original grand, ways and what it looked. The people that make the money on that product, the people that makes the money on certain products, they are the people that have mastered their craft, the carpenters, all of those type of people. Those people aren't going away. So skilled trades is going to become more valuable. People that understand craftsmanship is going to become more valuable. Things are going to start looking the same. They're going to start being shaped the same. You notice how most cars nowadays, they all got light bars now? I remember, and I'm about to harken into a little bit of my automotive, why I like cars so much. I remember when BMW changed the game when they introduced the Bangle Butt, right? And the Bangle Butt there was a 740Is, a 745, 750s and it changed from the 3 Series, and then the Bangle butt was introduced into the 7 Series, and it was a higher lift on the butt of the car that then a lot of automakers started to try to mimic and put into their cars. Now you see that with a lot of the cars, even if it's an internal combustion engine, you see that with a lot of the cars now. Now they have a light bar across the front or a light bar across the back. And so, like, even if you look at Chinese cars and stuff like that, they don't have no passion. It's no emotion. It's nothing in it. It's just cram as much technology as you possibly get into it. When I get into a car, I bought my Navigator or whatever, and it's a phenomenal vehicle. But I'm gonna tell you, like, 90% of the features I'll probably never use. It's just honest to God truth. Because, you know, you have to manage the technology. I'm probably never going to use the cooled seats, right? Or the massaging feature in the seat or anything like that. Being able to manually do things, we'll start to have more of an appreciation for it, because the world is going to become more like WALL-E. People that are born in a certain generation and understand the 64 Impalas and the 96 Chevy Impalas and the 2004 Mercury Marauders and the 86 Grand Nationals and the Chevy Camaros from the early 60s, stuff like that. When you start to think about those cars and those vehicles, the Fox body Mustang, if you can't, even when I go to car events, right? So I'll probably go to a car event today or Sunday, whatever. If you go to car events nowadays, most of the cars is already built. They're buying them from the dealership and then they just revving the engine. They don't understand that you used to have to work on your car. They don't understand 4-barrel carburetors. They don't understand that type of shit. They don't understand that you could have a 350 or a 305 and turn it into what the Flow Masters and chop off the exhaust and intercoolers and all of that type of. They don't know anything about that. They don't understand any of that type of stuff. And because they don't understand it, it's going to become more valuable, because anybody can buy a built car, but very few people actually are customizing it and can drive their car. Everything is a museum now. Everything is a museum now. And so when you see AI and technology continuing to rapidly evolve, the craftsmanship is going to be the thing that is valued most. People are going to spend more money on houses that are built a certain way. You can go, it's applicable to everything. You can go into a neighborhood that's a cookie cutter neighborhood and all of the houses look the same, and it's not as valuable as a house that is built, refurbished, and redone to its original grandeur in the 60s or the 70s that was built a certain type of way, out of brick, right? Older, nostalgic with modern amenities and technologies with better refrigerators and stuff like that. That is the stuff that is going to be valued. So there will always be a market for the things that we love today, but the technology aspect of it is going to transform so fast that people that are not embracing it and on the train, they're going to get left behind. I wear this watch when I go to sleep, and I wear this watch when I work out. That's it. I wear this watch when I go to sleep and when I work out. I have a genuine love and affinity for nice watches and timepieces. I appreciate the slate dial and the fact that it was, it took so long to craft. So it just depends on who you are and what you want.
And then it's not, I mean, then if you, like I said, science fiction, not just displacing us from work, but maybe just displacing us altogether 100 years from now.
Yeah, well, we have to take a lot of those science fiction style scenarios very seriously, Joe, in my opinion. And the most common job in 29 states is still being a truck driver. You have robot trucks just now hitting the highways.
Yeah, they'll be gone.
Dario Amodei, the CEO of Anthropic, said, look, we're going to automate away a lot of the entry-level white-collar jobs. And he's right, because I talked to executives at these companies who are doing exactly what Andy Jassy is talking about on Amazon, looking around saying, hey, guys, instead of hiring a bunch of 22-year-olds, maybe we should have AI do that work. So I fear for the next generation, because all of the experience that maybe we got in our 20s and 30s, there might not be that kind of ladder available to them.
Look, Andy Jassy said that he wants employees to kind of take advantage and learn how to use AI, learn how to do their jobs better, maybe make things easier. Maybe it takes care of some of the grunt level work you don't like doing, but it allows you to have more space and room to do things creatively. Should we be afraid of that?
Well, what this means in real life, Becky, is you have a department of 6 people, let's say coders or designers, and then you end up eliminating 4 or 5 of them, and then there's one designer coder empowered by AI. So there's going to be a beneficiary in the organization, but you're just not going to need as many people in that department, and that's going to play out over and over again.
Pope had some interesting things, and he's getting involved. Last Pope was big on climate change. This might be important. And he says the worlds of science and politics need to immediately tackle this problem without allowing scientific progress to advance with arrogance, harming those who have to submit to power. And he's going to host a lot of people. But right now it's just breakneck. There's no governors on what's happening whatsoever.
I mean, if you think about the incentives of the individual firm, it's just to go as fast as possible, because there's like a bit of an arms race in terms of
it's competition. And so a lot of people will say, well, these companies need to slow up. Why would the fuck they do that? Because the companies, even though they may see the ethical concerns or they may see the technological concerns, they can't slow down because their competition is not slowing down. So in order for them to compete, it's almost like, you have to embrace the technology regardless of whether or not you agree with it, because it's vital for your survival of your company itself, because nobody is going to slow down. In order for this thing to slow down, for people to try to figure out how to regulate it and how to, put it in its perspective of what it is that we really about to be up against and what we're facing, everybody would have to slow down in the world, not just in the United States of America, because they got an arms race in China too. They have an arms race in Saudi Arabia too. They have an arms race in Japan too, right? It's not even just the companies here in the United States of America. There's an arms race in the world. And so you'd have to get the world to agree, which would never happen. And so basically we're racing into our own demise. And so enjoy it while you can. It's basically what you enjoy it while you can.
Cute.
Literally.
And the data and the model, literally. And then they'll look up and say, our competitor is China, so I got to go. The question is, what happens to people? And I'm someone who, look, I'm not anti-progress, anti-innovation. I think all of that stuff is very positive, but you have to be clear-eyed about the impact on people, on organizations, on workers.
Facts.
And in my estimation, this 4th industrial revolution is the most dramatic thing that's happened to our society in history. AI might be the most radical breakthrough in human history. And so we have to think much, much bigger.
That allows more spare time. That allows people to, we become so rich from AI that maybe you can do UBI and not everyone has to work 5 days. You gave me a thumbs up. Is that the answer for you?
To me, that is the answer. The question is, how do we get from point A to point B? Because right now, the beneficiaries of AI are going to be a small handful of firms.
Basic income. I don't want that shit. I don't want that. I like capitalism.
And then the average 22-year-old or truck driver or whatnot is going to be just looking around saying, where did my job go? And they're not going to be experiencing that kind of value. That, to me, is what government and politics are for. That's what got me into the Democratic race in 2020. Unfortunately, right now, our political class is very, very far away from these problems. And one of our goals should be to try and bring them together the way the Pope's describing.
All right. So what do you think?
Andrew Yang was so far ahead of his time, and he's not really marketable, and nobody wants an Asian president. So you can fucking forget it. But he had the answers. And it was one of the reasons. And see, this is why when people say stuff like, well, Anton, you blindly support the Republican Party. No, I support Republican policies. But from a technological perspective, even though Andrew Yang was a person that was on the left, I don't support universal basic income, but he understood what was coming a long time ago. I was a heavy Yang gang supporter because he understood. On the Democrat side, I supported Andrew Yang, but I knew, and I donated to his campaign. I actually stomped for him here in Michigan. On the Democrat side, I actually supported Andrew Yang, but he's not marketable. If you're not a black man or a white man, you're going to have problems getting elected for president of the United States of America. Just fact of the matter. It just is what it is. We're discriminatory. That's what we are. We're prejudiced. It don't matter how smart he is. It doesn't matter whether or not he can see it. It's the same problem with Vivek Ramaswamy. It's the same problem. he's intelligent. He can communicate effectively. So you can use him on a smaller scale to drum up votes or to get out certain messages, but they're not marketable. It don't matter how much they tell you. Don't matter how much they. Andrew Yang should have been president. Not president. Mayor of New York. He should have been mayor of New York. Honest to God. And this is what I'm saying. We get distracted by things that don't matter. And that's why you see these dumb immigration crises and all of this stuff. We get distracted from the real stuff that we should be focused on. And this is why these type of people will never become president of the United States of America.
I don't know if you call it a rider, but the initiative that's trying to be pushed into the budget bill, the one big beautiful bill right now that has made it through the House version. We don't know what's going to happen with the Senate entirely because of the Byrd rules and others, but it's a move to say state attorney generals, other states have no way of setting any rules or guidelines or laws around AI, that it should be only allowed at a federal level. And by the way, there are backers, a lot of the big AI names that are backing and kind of lobbying for that.
Oh, certainly if you're an AI company, the last thing you want is a hodgepodge of state rules that you then have to navigate or run afoul of. And a lot of these fronts, including social media, by the way, what you see is you see a federal hands-off approach, and then the states at some point step up and say, you know what, I don't love this treatment of customer data. They're trying to avoid that in AI. If you're going to have that, then you would need a buttoned up, sensible approach from the federal government.
Guidelines before you.
Yes, exactly. But the incentives for the corporates will be, let us do whatever we want. And then even for the individual legislators, will be like, oh, do I want to mess with the AI guys? Not really. So you're going to end up with a wild.
Legislators are so dumb that they don't even understand it. Are you think about it? You're going to sit here and tell me that Jasmine Crockett, Bernie Sanders, AOC, that these people, that they actually even understand it from a technological perspective to be able to legislate it, to regulate it? They have no fucking clue. They're just figureheads. And honest to God, I'm just going to tell you the truth. They're figureheads. They don't have a clue. They have no clue on what. You don't see legislators talking about artificial intelligence. You don't see them talking about technology. You don't see them talk. They talk about surface level bullshit to continue to keep people caught up in these race-based conversations to say that, and the only talking point that they can have is, and I don't like Trump, or I don't like this, or I don't like the Department of Government. That ain't even relevant. That's not going to have any impact on what is going to happen in regular everyday people's lives. They have no clue. No clue. We are voting people in that have no clue. Brandon Johnson, J.B. Pritzker, Gavin Newsom, Karen Bass. Karen Bass? Really? Get the fuck out of here, bro. These people ain't got a clue, man. And I ain't talking about just on the Democrat side. I'm talking about on the Republican and the Democrat side. Republicans don't have a fucking clue either. At all. We have people in office that has no clue on what is coming. The only person that I can give credit to is the Trump administration. And it's because he is having these conversations and he is closely connected to the Mark Zuckerbergs, to the Jeff Bezos. He is, at the very least, he has people in his corner, in his cabinet, having conversations or whatever, so on and so forth, that hopefully can give him some insight on how it is that we need to approach what is going to happen in the future. But other than that, all of the rest of these people, I don't see them having any conversations whatsoever about artificial intelligence, tying themselves to people that can give them insight into it, and even warning people or trying to regulate it effectively. It's going to be an afterthought. It's going to be an afterthought. But the people that are smart enough to actually put things in place and to have these conversations, unfortunately, they are not the ones that are in office. That's just the way that it is. God Flavor says, but AD, they may not understand it, but they understand it. How can you understand the effects of something if you don't understand the impact? If you don't understand it, you can't understand the effects of it. If you don't understand it, you cannot possibly understand the effects of it. It's almost an oxymoron. It's impossible for you to understand it, and for not understanding it and to understand the effects of it. Most people, listen, people got ChatGPT on their phones and all of this stuff. They have no fucking clue. No clue. No clue what they get themselves into right now. No clue. They don't even understand the agreements that they're signing, what they hit the button before they download the application, before they sign up and all of this stuff. They have no clue. Most people don't even know the capability of their phones. They don't even know how powerful the camera in their phones are. People ain't, Frank Whitaker says the dream may mean that America, the female, has re-entered the Bush era. Wesley Turner says analog tech will be the new luxury items because we will begin to crave something real. That is a fact. That's why women is going to become more valuable. Human connection will be a hot commodity in the near future. I agree. I agree 100%. Ryan says, when you were in college, how many hours did you work in a plant? I'm in trucking, but I want to do online college for computer science while working 12-hour days. Is this unrealistic? Well, when I was in a plant, I had a lot of downtime. So in between coils or in between doing certain work or whatever, so on and so forth, I was able to do my homework. I was able to study. I was able to get things done. I was able to work on my businesses. So most of the things that I've ever done, I was able to work. I would say don't overwhelm yourself if you are in trucking, because you got to be on the road. You're not in a situation where you can sit down at a desk, where you can sit there and study, that you can manage it, that you can actually. I was able to sleep on the job a lot of times. When the line would go down and we had to get maintenance and it was going to be down for the next 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? With trucking, it's a little bit different because you got to be alert. You got to be aware. So I would say manage it. Don't overwhelm yourself. Take 1 or 2 classes at a time and then just keep going through the process. Mr. Youngblood said, and go into cybersecurity or something like that, or AI machine learning. Mr. Youngblood City says, get ready. The Waymo car is amazing. I see them every day. They are all over West LA. Driverless cars that I've seen make human decisions on the fly. It's a real thing, bro. Joe Gunn says it's called steampunk, old world craftsmanship mixed with advanced technology. Yep, it's coming. It is coming. Specialize. Go into something that's future-proof, more future-proof. You're always going to need more cybersecurity professionals with the advance of technology. All right. Interesting Saturday show. Interesting Saturday show. But we here. All right. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Stay focused. Get outside, man. Go outside. Go touch some grass, like Molly says. That's what I'm going to do. In about an hour, I'm going to head outside and touch some grass. Carrington Love Jr. says I'm in trucking, but as an owner now, the way that you do it is to make sure you get to the hotels, check in fast, and get on the laptop. There you go. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon link is in the description. I think I'm going to go watch 28 Years Later at some point this weekend. And we're going to do a Patreon live stream tomorrow. So I'm going to post a Patreon live stream information today, and then we're going to do it tomorrow. Okay? I love y'all. Appreciate y'all for rocking out, even on a Saturday. I never expect for the crowds to be as much as it is on a Saturday because it's off the cuff, but we here. Thank you, Arlesia. Pacers, OKC tomorrow, game 7. Yeah, I got my money on the Pacers. Cash Kennel says Andrew Yang was crying on live TV after being asked about a child being unalived. What a beta male. That makes you a beta male? So because he got emotional about a child getting killed, that makes him a beta male? All right. Well, I learned something new today. Every day I learn something new. Y'all the toughest of the tough. I got you. Robert Lil Robert says, what's your opinion of an operation management degree? You can get rid of that one, big dog. Don't do it. Don't do it. You good. Get out of that, big dog. No operation management degrees. You know what I'm saying, Slimmy? What up, Kyla? I love you. I don't know what people be saying, bro. You can't show so you can't show emotion because of a life event. Got it. Now he's a beta male because he was feeling some type of way about a child dying. All righty then. That's that. Anyways, make sure y'all get out in the streets and experience life. I'm gonna go and check out 28 Years Later at some point. Hopefully I can check it out today and then we'll go from there. All right. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I don't even be wanting to end the live streams. But I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Solution Trucking Channel says, I know the show is over. What are your thoughts on Chase raising the fee on the Sapphire card? I think I got a Sapphire card. What's the fee now? What's the fee on the Sapphire card right now? What are they raising the fee? Let me see. Chase raising fee on the Sapphire card. Chase is increasing the fee. Let me put it up on the screen. Chase is increasing the annual fee on a Sapphire Reserve card from $550 to $795, a 45% increase. This change will take effect for new card holders June 23rd and for existing card holders on their next renewal date after October 26, 2025. The increased fee will be accompanied by new perks and benefits, including enhanced earning rates on travel and dining, as well as new credits for subscriptions and experiences. So let me scroll down a little bit. Apple TV, Apple Music, points boost, allow card boosting points for spending a certain amount on the card, complimentary DoorDash Pass membership, Lyft credits, and more. My perspective on this is, all right, so let me go off the cuff a little bit, right? Because I'm not an advocate for everyday regular people for having credit cards, meaning that I think that most people get into debt, most people can't handle it, and I think that it could be a very bad situation for most people. Now, with that being said, for me personally, as a card, do I got that card? Hold on, let me see something. Give me a second. Let's see, as a card, yes. So I have a Sapphire Reserve card myself. My card is wore the fuck out. My card is beat the hell up. Look at all of my junk. My chip is all tore up. My card is wore out, all of that stuff. So I have the card myself. It's worth it for me. It is worth it for me. Anton, can you continue to stream out in public on the days you're hanging out, either before or after? There's always something new to talk about. So y'all want me to be like an in real life streamer? Is that what y'all want me to do? So Peter Investor said this is too much unless you're getting 10% cashbacks and getting your premium round trip fee per year of $2. Well, here's the thing about it, premium investor, Peter Investor. Here's the thing: it's worth it for me because I spend on average probably close to $100,000 a month on my Sapphire card. I spend close to some months it can get close to $100,000 a month on my Sapphire card. Now, why is that then beneficial? Because I have the cash and I pay it off in full. And more importantly, I get a crazy amount of points. I get a crazy amount of points. Let me see something. So I haven't ever paid any interest on my card, right? So because I've never paid interest, I don't even know why they want to keep me as a customer, because the amount of free stuff, man, listen, bro, my computer equipment that's inside of my studio, all of that stuff, everything has been paid for by my card points. Everything has been paid for by card points. So I get a crazy amount of points every single month. So for me, it may be worth it. And so I think that on an individual basis, if you just getting it because you just want some status or you want some clout and some shit like that, then I think that you're playing it the wrong way. But if you actually killing the game because you're a business owner and you spend a lot of money on fucking cabinets and you know, that type of stuff, you buying materials, you buying drywall with it and all of that stuff. And so money that you would normally use to stuff that you would pay cash for, you would just pay it out of your business account, then you using it for that, then that's completely different. So that's what I'm saying. Like, it just depends, bro. It depends. I can't see my spending summary though. I guess I could see my I guess I would be able to see my statement. Manage account, transfer balance, track your card, verify, view payment activity, store cards, restore friend. Trying to see how much I spend a month on my card. I guess you could see it on the statements, right? Statements. I spend over $40,000 a month some months. So, yep. So I spend well over $40,000 a month. Yep, I spend over $40,000 a month. So it's worth it for me. It's worth it for me. But I don't keep a balance either, though. So it's worth it for me. Yep, it's worth it for me. But for other people, it may not necessarily be worth it for them. And then I spend my statement credits like crazy. So I'll show you my points available right now. So these are the amount of points that I have available right now. So, you know, I'll have 228,000 points. Man, I'm buying every fucking thing. I'm buying plane tickets and fucking Apple computers. I buy a new iPhone with my stuff. You know what I'm saying? So if you spending anywhere between $500,000 to $1 million a year on your Chase Sapphire card, then it's worth it. I'll pay $800 a year, especially if I'm not paying any interest on my cards. I'll pay $800 a year for the perk. And plus you get a free travel credit. You get all a bunch of stuff. So it depends on what your usage is. If your usage is up there, then it's worth it. Getting it just for status don't mean anything. If you're a business owner, then it probably is going to be worth it if you're spending a lot of money from a business perspective, and it'll make sense. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah. The more money you make in life, let me just say this. The more money you make in life, the more free things you get, the more perks you get, the more everything you get. Most stuff be free. When I go to different states, a lot of times hotels is free. A lot of times the flights is free. Everything just be free. Rita told me that she had $500,000 to 600,000, either 500 or 600,000 miles on her Delta that she ain't even spent yet. And I was so disgusted. And I was like, you don't even buy nothing. Like, why do you have that many miles?
Hello.
Hey, I got a question.
What's going on?
How many miles do you have on your Delta account right now? Like, how many miles do you have available to spend?
I think like 520,000 or something like that.
What do you plan on using it for? I'm on a live stream, by the way.
I don't know. I don't have anything specifically planned. Maybe to Dubai or something.
You need to get a mile up, fam.
Why you mad?
I'm not mad. I just said you need to give them up.
Why do I need to give them up?
Because you didn't earn them.
How didn't I? I'm the one that took the flights.
You didn't pay for the flights.
It doesn't matter.
It does matter.
I was the one who took the flights. And I have been a Delta member a lot longer than you have.
No, I just switched I started a new account and I switched my account. Anyways, bye.
Bye.
I took the flights. No, but you didn't pay for them, so they don't count. Anyways, I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Let me read a couple of more of these super chats. See what y'all talking about. Yeah, I think that it's worth it depending on how much you spend and if you're not paying no interest. Jay was running for president. So I think you meant to say yay. Shout out to Cash Kennels. Aaron L says, can you play Kamala talking about AI to Congress? No, I'm not about to embarrass her right now. I got to go. Did you hear about the 16 billion passwords leak? It seemed like every week passwords leak. Wyatt says, is it bad parenting that I told my son to cheat next time he takes the electrician test? He failed 3 times. His mother is mad and told me it's bad parenting. Yes, it is bad parenting. And let me tell you why. Is he going to be prepared to be able to do the actual job in real life? Is he going to be behind? Because see, like, for example, I was already a software engineer and I was already doing all of the work and doing all of the development before I ever went to school for it, right? I was already doing those jobs and those roles, developing those applications. And so I just didn't have time. I didn't feel like taking the classes, which is much different than your ability to be able to do the work and pass the tests. Could I have done the work and passed the test? Absolutely. Did I feel like going through the process of all of that? No, I didn't want to do it. So that's when I, paid somebody else to take my classes. Is he prepared to actually do the job, or are we just trying to get him the paperwork to be able to do it so he can fuck some shit up? You see what I'm saying? So is he putting in the work that he needs to put in order to actually pass the test? That's what I'm saying. So the context matters, You can't just tell him to cheat for the sake of cheating when he don't know what he's doing. He still got to know what he's doing. He got to know what he's doing. You know what I'm saying? You talking about real life stuff. like real life. Like being an electrician, that's a real life thing. That's a life and death situation. So he gotta figure that out. He gotta go through it. It's a little different for him. Class C, shout out to Class C. I appreciate you for the fat ball, my friend. So, you know, if he don't know what he doing, he needs to figure out what he need to go back to the drawing board. You need to go back to the drawing board. That's real life and death. He already wired 4 of our properties and he went to school for it. He just wanted the paperwork to get into the union. Nah, he needs to go ahead and pass the test, big dog. He needs to pass the test. It's not about wiring properties. Being an electrician can be applicable to all kind of things. There's electricians in plants. There's electricians for all kind of stuff. He needs to go ahead and pass the test. He needs to pass the test. Tell him to pass the test. Somebody says you dropped the clip while streaming. Always. Oh, what? You don't think that the work continues? You don't think that stuff is already set up and dropping before we even jumped on the live stream? Yeah. Nah, he needs to go and he needs to pass the test, bro. Certain things you just can't skip out on. Some stuff you got to go through. All right. Listen, love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'm out. Peace.